Hampton Roads has a long-running high school and college sports tradition. It's time to give them the spotlight they deserve. This is 757 Sports Talk. Here are Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
Good Saturday morning to all of you out there, wherever you are tuning in, and welcome to another episode of 757 Sports Talk, powered by Cova Sports TV. Like, share, and always subscribe. I am Matthew Hatfield. We have no earthly idea where the coach Ed Young is, but we can tell you coming up at 11 a.m. Eastern, that's 10 Central, 9 Mountain, and 8 Pacific, we are scheduled to be joined by a special guest, an ESPN Major League Baseball analyst and Hall of Famer Tim Kurkjian, who is slated to stop by and has confirmed that he'll come on the program, even though we've not heard when Ed Young will show up on the program. I have no idea if he has practice. I have no idea what he's doing. He might be getting the snow blower out because a lot of snow is expected to drop along the East Coast. And we say good morning to Woody out there and all of our band of renown that are tuning in via the internet. You can always hit the chat box if you got a question for Tim Kurkjian, you got a comment, a thought, any type of thing on your mind, you can definitely drop it to us. Let us know how much snow is going to fall in Hampton Roads this weekend. We do want to hear from all of you. I do not know what's going on with the echo there, so I apologize about that. It could be something. I hope it's just something on your end, not on our end, but we will troubleshoot it and find out, though, to be sure in a little bit. So let's hope there is no echo that's coming out. We'll troubleshoot it and find out. Now, I'm not getting an echo from what I'm seeing on my end, but if someone else is, definitely let us know on the comment box, and we will try to get it taken care of. Who's going to be playing in Super Bowl 60 in 15 days? We'll do our NFL picks at the end of the show. We want to hear from you on that front, too. You have the Patriots visiting the Broncos, and you have the Rams traveling to take on the Seahawks for a third encounter this season. So a lot going on in the world of sports. The national championship is in the books. We'll give you some thoughts on that. I will if Ed's not here by then. But Indiana beating the Miami Hurricanes on Monday night on MLK Day. What was a doozy of a championship game. I didn't see it live. I watched bits and pieces. I take that back. I did see some of the game live while I was at an event over there at Kings Fork. But, yeah, the guy that said, Google me, N1, Kurt Signetti, builds programs and develops quarterbacks. I think it's going to be his book that comes out, right? Gets it done over the Canes as their national champions. And what a performance that was. The fourth down, the kahunas, the big ones he had to take those risks, and they paid off with Fernando Mendoza and did it with a lot of Virginia flavor, which we'll touch on here during the program. We've got some high school hoop sound, and we have to get Ed Young's thoughts. We have to get his thoughts on this potential shakeup when it comes to high school athletics, because those that have not been following it closely will have to check it out, and that is that there is a proposed bill that will certainly impact the situation with high school sports, as that proposed bill now has the ability to, we'll actually show it to you on the screen. It is Senate Bill 220, where now lawmakers are going to allow, potentially, if it gets passed, athletes to be eligible to play sports across the state if they just enroll at a school, which is different from what the Virginia High School League's guidelines have in place at the moment. So we'll get Ed's take on that, and I'll share a little bit of my perspective. But I know he wants to rant and rave and scream and holler and do all kinds of things about it. Hopefully not throw any objects, forks, spoons, knives. Keep them in the drawer, please. That would be nice if he did all that. But we are on with you this morning again on Facebook, Twitter, X, YouTube at Cova Sports TV, and on my IG at Hatfield Sports 2K4 as we talk to you about everything that's going on in the world of sports. I do want to get a couple of house cleaning items out of the way here before Ed does hop on, whenever that may be. Lord knows when that'll be. But I do want to give a shout out. Three things. Take it back. I said it was two things. Three things I want to touch on. I have them in my notes here. I do keep notes, believe it or not. And this is pretty cool. We'll call it four things, believe it or not. Virginia Wesleyan, Christopher Newport. The Division III schools don't get a ton of love on our program. And by the way, Wesleyan got a big win. Props to Dave Macedo and the Marlins beating Randolph-Macon this week. I was not there, but a couple of monster threes late in the final minute from Amari DeVoe, the Douglas Freeman grad, and they also won another game, I think, coming from behind that followed that one. So kudos to Coach Macedo and the Marlins there. But Christopher Newport had a quarterback, and we had, if you remember, on the program back towards the end of the 2025 calendar year, we had on Paul Crowley, the head coach of the captains of CNU, as they made the playoffs, had a heck of a season. But his quarterback, Connor Berry, who hails from the Northern Virginia area in Madison High School, he's going to Penn State. You don't usually go from CNU to Penn State, but he's going to Penn State. We'll see if he gets on the field. We'll see what this story now holds, as there's tons of players going in the portal, NIL galore. One from the 757 that leaps to mind, Isaiah Furman at Nansemond Suffolk Academy. He balled out at Elon, and now he's going to the ACC and Georgia Tech. I mean, we could go through the litany of players, and now there's just a plethora of players that constantly tag me on the X or the Twitter and getting scholarship offers that are high school players. It's been more of an effect for high school recruiting in basketball than football as far as getting to the next level, the FBS, the Power Fives. But I'm really fascinated to see what happens here with Connor Berry at Penn State. You go from D3, CNU, highly successful there, to now you're in the frying pan. Happy Valley, playing Michigan and Ohio State. You don't expect him to be QB1 by any stretch, but you never know. Crazier things have happened. All right, Woody says the echo's gone. I think it was on your end, Woody. And good morning to Super E out there. Super E, by the way, is a diehard like me. I know he is. He's gonna hit the comment box, and this will make one of our mutual friends and Coach Young upset because he's a watch a second of it. Our Law and Order. We love our Law and Order, Super E. 9 o'clock Eastern, which is 6 Pacific, 7 Mountain, 8 Central. Don't bother us. Keep the phone and text away. We're watching SVU. My gal Mariska Hargitay, Olivia Benson. Best show on TV. I don't care what everybody says. But my other house cleaning notes before Coach Young, maybe we're gonna put wagers on this, folks. I'm showing my Fitbit is. My Fitbit's time is a few minutes behind, so it's 9:15 Central, 10:15 Eastern. So I'm going to tell you he's going to get on the program at like 9:47 Central, 10:47 Eastern, 13 minutes before Tim Kurkjian, even though he's supposed to be here, on time. But we started the show without him, just like Keandre Lambert-Smith of the Chargers told us when Cam Chancellor, his uncle, left him to go to the movies. You're not down here. We're starting without you, Coach. We don't care. You got to be punctual. You got to be punctual. Otherwise, you can't expect your players to, grind it out in these tough Bay Rivers tussles. Can't expect that. Cannot expect that. That's right. Leave us alone. Thank you. That's right. Watch the show or don't bother us. Simple as that. But my other two house cleaning notes. How about from Poquoson High School, speaking of the Bay Rivers District, head coaches, for those who don't know, at Smithfield High School, he's the hoops coach. He'll correct me on a record. I think he's like 6-6, 6-7, 7-7, something like that. I don't know what his record is at the moment. I should know this, but I don't. I did watch a little bit. I had it on the stream, his game with Bruton. He lost in gut-wrenching fashion the other night. I'm not poking fun at because his team is pretty adventurous and fun to watch at times. They are. But Chad Pinder. Yeah, Chad Pinder. You remember him from Poquoson High School if you followed baseball. He's now the manager of the AAA team for the Chicago White Sox, and that's the Charlotte Knights, who often come to Harbor Park. So how about this? Chad Pinder, who spent about 7-8 years with the then Oakland Athletics, we just now call them the A's, played in the major leagues, goes from Poquoson, success in the big leagues, has his moments, and now he's managing not a big league team, but a minor league team. This is pretty cool for Chad Pinder. So I'm stoked to see what Chad does with this, and we're going to effort getting Chad on the program as we get closer and closer to spring training and pitchers and catchers and Major League Baseball getting underway I guess it's now at the end of March. Still used to being April. I used to always think in my brain, baseball starts as the Final Four and national championship are concluding. That was to me always the big time for opening day, but we're moving things up so quickly. We start things way too early. Coach likes to get on this program and moan and bellyache about, football shouldn't be played in August. And I got news for you, Coach. It's going to be played in July, whether you like it or not, here in the next probably 5-10 years. But he likes to get up there and complain about things like that. Listen, we start basketball way too early. We start baseball. We start everything way too early. That's just the world we live in now. That's life. It's a society. It is what it is. But that was one of the little shout-outs I want to give out to. So Chad Pender, another guy that folks around the 757 may not be all that familiar with, but I'm going to educate you about him. And he coached at Norfolk State, and he coached at William & Mary, and he coached at Virginia State. And I got to know him a little bit just on the ripping and running. He's a graduate of Richmond, but he's from Glen Allen, and that's Kurkjian Parker. Kurkjian Parker is now the new defensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys. How about them Cowboys? He's the new DC as he has worked his way up the ladder the hard way at 34 years of age. He spent the last 2 years as a passing game coordinator and a secondary coach for the Philadelphia Eagles. So it was a part of a Super Bowl run. But this guy now is the DC, one of the big, steps away from being the big whistle of a National Football League team. It's pretty cool to see. So congrats to Coach Parker out there on getting this well-deserved, hard-worked for and earned opportunity as the DC of the Cowboys. And he's got his work cut out for him because Dallas couldn't stop water often this past season. I'm not trying to make all you Cowboys fans upset. I'm just being brutally honest. Their defense was not exactly all that stellar, as that Sunday night tie against Green Bay illustrated, along with many other outings that they had this past season. All right. It is 757 Sports Talk, and we're streaming with you on Cova Sports TV. You can hit that comment box, the chat box. Let us know what you think. If you have a question for Tim Kurkjian, we'll have him on the program at 11. It may be me talking to Tim if Ed can't get his technology or computer figured out. I don't know what he's doing or where he is. Are we going to get snow this week? Is it Snowmageddon in the Hampton Roads or wherever you may be tuning into the show? You could be watching it elsewhere. Let us know what you think. And the Super Bowl is coming up in 15 days. And we want to know what matchup you think we'll have. What matchup do you like most? Because I'll be honest with you, Jarrett Stidham against Sam Darnold or Drew Lock, if something was to happen to Darnold here with the oblique, isn't all that attractive. But I still have a little bit of New England fatigue. I know it's not Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. It's Mike Vrabel, and it is Drake May. But a little bit of fatigue there for me still with that franchise in the big game. It's almost like Kansas City fatigue. Philadelphia's been there enough. You want a little new blood. Seattle, no problem with them. The Rams won one Super Bowl with this current regime of Sean McVay and Matthew Stafford. Of course, they also won one back when Dick Vermeil and Kurt Warner were leading the way as coach and quarterback combo. Stafford's trying to get the double of Super Bowl MVP and regular season MVP, as is Drake May. I think is going to finish second to Stafford in the MVP, whether you all out there like it or not. But let us know what you think. You can always hit our comment box on the YouTube, Facebook, the Twitter, the X, or the IG, anything that's on your mind in the world of sports. And we'll get to some high school hoop sound as well, all kinds of games and action. And we want to show you a buzzer beater from MLK Day for those of you that didn't see it, that was circulating and went viral online with the Denbigh Patriots and the Norview Pilots. So it's all on the way here on 757 Sports Talk. Like, share, and subscribe, and keep it tuned, locked, and loaded here to Cova Sports TV. We're going to take our first time out, and we'll chat with you in just a bit after these commercials play right here on Cova Sports TV.
What makes a life a good one? Is it our adventures? Or the friends we find along the way? Is it the challenges we conquer together? Maybe it's the people's lives we touch every single day. So, what makes a life a good one? You'll have to figure that one out for yourself.
What is more? Is it more reps, more strength, more stamina? We say it's all of that, but it's greater than just what's in the mirror. It's about improving your mental and physical health. More is a feeling of achievement, fulfillment, confidence. It's looking better, feeling better, being better, and it's our mission to get you there. Because here, you are more. One Life Fitness.
Portco is your local nonprofit organization dedicated to economic empowerment through employment for people with disabilities. We focus on abilities, not limitations, providing on-the-job vocational support. Find your pathway to employment. Contact us or learn more at portco.org.
Well, it's everybody's favorite time of year again. Time to prepare to make your annual donation to that infernal revenue service. And if you're like me, you need help. Help to keep that donation as small as possible. So get off your W-2 and call John Maynard at John's Tax Service. 455-6763.
At Rush Soccer, our love of the game and the community we create doesn't stop when we leave the pitch or when the season ends. We are more than an individual player, team, club, or league. We are a truly global community of athletes, parents, coaches, professionals, and fans. We believe that youth sports and the pathway to a lifelong love of soccer have the power to form deep, meaningful connections that will fundamentally shape our players and those in our community. We believe that what we feel is the key to what we can achieve. Feel the pride. Feel the confidence. Feel the legacy. Feel the connection. Feel the trust. Feel the acceptance. Feel the purpose. Feel the difference. Feel the rush.
At Atomic Wings, we prioritize real chicken with fresh, all-natural, never frozen ingredients, all packed with serious flavor. Order from over 15 awesome flavors at atomicwings.com.
All right, here with the Denbigh Patriots hero today, Callen Morrison, a half-court buzzer beater as they stunned Norview 76-74 in the MLK Day of Dreams Showcase at Kings Fork High School in Suffolk. All right, you just told me you hit a buzzer beater before in AAU. You were calm, cool, collective under pressure. What did you see there on that last possession? Did you know what was coming your way there to heave it up?
Really the play, I was really just a decoy to run up the court. I didn't even think I was going to get the ball, but I got it, shot it, felt good, and went in.
Who did you think was going to get the ball? Who was it designed for? If you can...
Somebody in the post.
Okay, somebody in the post. It's a crazy game. You guys are hanging around all game long. You didn't get as many numbers, if you will, playing time. But how cool is it to kind of have your chance in this moment to win the game against a really good team like Norview in this spot?
I mean, it's really all my teammates. They put the trust in me as a new transfer to come in and take that shot to end the game. Really all my teammates and my coaches.
How's that adjustment been for you? You played on the gridiron for Denbigh this past year, had an impact. You were on Woodside's couple of state championship teams. Now you go over to the crosstown rival. How have you fit in with Coach Grimes and the system of the guys here?
I mean, I feel like I fit in pretty good. I've been knowing these guys before we even went to high school, so just another great fit for me.
Sure, you mentioned that you obviously play AAU on the Boo Williams circuit. I think it's with Kevin Parker. How's that chemistry you guys have from football, catching passes from him, and also you guys in the backcourt kind of knowing each other's tendencies, if you will? How much does that help?
I mean, I can really say we best backcourt duo in the state.
Okay. What makes
best
you
on the field duo in the state too?
What makes him so good on the court, and what do you think he does to help your game?
The way he attacked the post, he can find open shooters and finish at the rim.
Sure. How much do you help his game? What is kind of your role with this team? Because you're known to set people up. What do you think you do best to help out your teammates, him included?
I can knock down shots, gravitate the defense towards me. When I drive, find him open, he can go and finish too.
I'm sure you watch the NBA, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you've been told you look like Jamal Murray from the Nuggets. This is your Jamal Murray moment. Do you like those comps, the look-alike comps, and also the big shot comp today?
Been getting that for a while now, actually.
You have been, all right.
Yeah.
But you can take it after this win today. What's this do for you guys? I know you've had some battles with Hampton. You'll see them again. One with Woodside. You'll see your former school again. What's this win do for you guys as you try to get better and move on from this and grow from this?
Does a lot. especially after the loss we took the other night, taking 2 in a row. I think that would be a pretty big hit for our team, but we needed this one really bad.
Sure, and you are a multi-sport athlete, football, basketball. Do you have a favorite, and do you have, I guess, aspirations to play one of the two more than the other in college? What's kind of your view for that outlook?
Whatever the best opportunity for me is, that's where I'm going to go.
He's Mr. Clutch for the Denbigh Patriots. Callen Morrison gets it done at the buzzer. Thanks so much. Congrats.
Thank you.
Here with Denbigh head basketball coach Jay Grimes, 76-74 over the Norview Pilots at the MLK Day of Dreams Showcase at Kings Fork High School in Suffolk to move to 11-2 on the season. Coach, you're a relatively youngster newbie at this coaching game, but you've had success turning the Denbigh program around. This is your first buzzer beater you've been a part of, certainly one of the more memorable ones to beat a team like this in this type of spot from half court, huh?
Yes, for sure. As a varsity coach, that is my first buzzer beater. Okay. It's a big shot by a big guy.
Yeah, Callen Morrison, whose numbers aren't, overwhelming today, 7 points for you, had a few assists. You had 3 guys score 20-plus, but how proud are you of him to stay, confident in the moment to do it and get it done from half court like that?
Man, he is one of our strongholds on this team. He keeps us going, man. His motor, his ability to get his teammates involved, and his ability to knock down big shots. So he's always ready for that moment, and I always know I got a play coming from him.
You were kind of down much of the game in that kind of 4 to 6, 8 point range, but you were hanging around. It was just a matter of you knew you could foul them and just keep extending the game. What was kind of your thought process and message to the guys in some of those huddles late down the stretch?
It would stay disciplined to our details, man. We would kind of get out of what we were, our principles defensively, and it just gave them too many advantages. Keon Mitchell Fast is a great, amazing guard, one of the best in this district and state. And we got to do a little bit better job making his life a little bit harder. We gave him too many opportunities. And it was more so those talks in the conversation, in the huddles, about just stick to our details.
And early on, you guys face guarded him with Nasir Johnson. Did a really good job today. He gets 20 points to go with Kevin Parker's 23 points and 6 assists, and Victor George's 20 points. And we'll hit on those two guys in a moment. But he got loose late. Was it just a matter, though, make him have to earn tough buckets and have to earn it from the foul line because that might not be his strength, even though he's a prolific scorer?
Yeah, that was part of our mindset, but we couldn't give up those layups. Those layups that we gave up were backbreakers.
For sure. Tell me what George has brought for you, because I feel like he's sort of the underrated guy for your team. People know about Morrison, football, basketball, AAU, Parker, D1 recruit, and even, Nasir Johnson's a key player for you, but he really stepped up for you in the paint today.
Yes, indeed. He's a junior. He's been under the radar for sure. He put a lot of size on this summer that's allowing him to tussle a little bit bigger, more than he did in previous seasons. He has great touch, a great feel for the game. And he's going to be a big threat, and he is showing he's a big threat. He had a big game against Hampton, shows up big tonight too. He's big in big moments.
2 more let you run here. Certainly you beat Hampton to start off the season. You'll see them again. You lost a tough Newport News rivalry in Woodside. You'll see them again. You went up to Winchester, played Hanley. What are those experiences, going on the road, playing in a showcase like this, done for your team and your growth? Because I know the goal is state tournament, state championship for Denbigh this year.
Indeed. This is all a grind right now. Every coach is in the game of just trying to hit their stride as they go in the playoffs, man. And these wins and losses right now, I would love to win everything, but these losses and things that we incur are all steps along our journey. And God's taking us to amazing places, and he's going to continue working with us as long as we put our faith in him. So everything that we're doing right now, the ups and downs are part of our moment and part of our journey.
Sure. And lastly, it feels like the nucleus of this team and the chemistry is really, really sharp. And how much are you going to lean on that here as you get ready for what's ahead? And I know, still some battles await for you in the PD, but this is a game that's certainly going to help you guys on your building and your growth, isn't it?
Yes, indeed. Man, that's a top 10 team in this area. And man, they put up 80 a game, man. It's hard to match what they do. So just getting a win in this big situation is key for our guys and our morale as we head and get closer to the playoffs.
An exciting win for the Patriots from the PD. Denbigh High School gets done. Thank you so much, Coach. We'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Hampton Roads has a long-running high school and college sports tradition. It's time to give them the spotlight they deserve. This is 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Here is Matt Hatfield.
And we welcome you back to 757 Sports Talk and Cova Sports TV. Like, share, and subscribe wherever you are. Thank you for making it part of your day with the coach, Ed Young, hopefully joining us a little bit later on. I am Matthew Hatfield. We've got more coming your way here on Cova Sports TV. We are having some technical difficulties, so we apologize about that right now as we try to troubleshoot that and get it fixed here on our screen for all of you out there. But in the meantime, we will be taking another timeout here in a moment until we can get some of this troubleshooted on our end here with 757 Sports Talk. So bear with us as we try to take care of this item. But you just heard from Jay Grimes, the head basketball coach of the Denbigh Patriots, as well as the young man who had the game-winning shot from just about half court. And we're talking about none other than Callen Morrison. It's a Denbigh team that has a lot of weapons, and that was a memorable win for them over Norview, as they just got 2 blemishes on the season. One of those losses coming, of course, to Woodside, who they'll see a little bit later on in the season, and the other one coming to Lake Taylor, which was on a Saturday night last week before they ended up taking on this Norview outfit. And ironically enough, you had that Norview game with Lake Taylor last week that was down to the wire, and it featured not a buzzer beater that won the game, but that forced the overtime, of course, with the Norview Pilots and Lake Taylor Titans, that buzzer beater that was wild. So a lot happening in the high school realm of things as we're getting closer and closer to playoff time, and we'll be taking a peek at that. I think we've now fixed. All right, we now have it fixed there. We apologize about that. We were having some technical difficulties here on the program, and we've got it on the screen now so you can see me as I talk to you at this particular time here on Cova Sports TV and 757 Sports Talk. As I'm not sure what all was happening there, but we were having some issues getting it back here on the screen for all of you. But we'll give you some more high school basketball sound in a bit here as we await the coach, and Tim Kurkjian is going to join us at the top of the hour. We've got NFL picks to conclude the program as well. For those wondering how those picks are doing at this particular time, well, we know regular season, I got it done at 500. I can't brag too much about that. 27 is not a record to gloat about. As far as the playoff picks go, gained some ground on Bruce, who went 1-2 in the divisional round. I went 2-1. Ed was 0, which is the norm for him. Very much the norm for him. And so, yeah, that's what we got there when it comes to the NFL picks. And we'll have more coming your way here in just a bit. Another quick timeout, though, as we'll have some more high school hoop sound coming your way and chat with you here on 757 Sports Talk. It is Cova Sports TV. Oh, we do have a question, though. Will War Hill High School have school on Monday? Sports wants to know. My gut is if we get the snow and ice and sleet that they're calling for, probably not going to have school. I know it's matter of fact, Virginia Beach schools, I know it's because my niece is in 4th grade. So I know this is how I know this, folks. I don't know about Norfolk, Chesapeake, and all others, but Virginia Beach is out Monday and Tuesday. It's like a staff. They got 2 staff days. So maybe Virginia Beach saw this coming. See, even the Virginia Beach kids, poor Virginia Beach kids can't celebrate snow because they're out of school anyway. They have a 4-day weekend, right? But to answer your question, I would lean with a less than 50% chance if what is forecasted takes place. But sometimes what is forecasted doesn't take place. And I'm sure if and when Ed gets up here, he will tell you there's no chance for snow. He does this every time, and then we get a foot of snow. So take what he says with a grain of salt. And trust me, they're going to need to get salt on the roads if what some of the forecasts have been saying comes to fruition. So, yeah, Smithfield does play War Hill. That's right. That's what's scheduled to take place. But if Mother Nature gets in the way, might not happen. So, all right. Another quick timeout. We've got more coming your way, including another high school basketball soundbite for you or two. And we'll see if Coach gets on here in time for me to give you my trivia question, if you will, of the day right here on 757 Sports Talk. Keep it tuned, locked and loaded to Cova Sports TV. Now this from some of those that help make it possible. Stay tuned.
For any athlete, making it to the top sometimes comes with a few steps back. That's why parents count on CHKD Sports Medicine, advanced diagnostics, treatment, and rehabilitation for sports injuries, just for young athletes like yours. With convenient locations across Hampton Roads and a whole team of experts here to keep your favorite player at the top of their game. CHKD Sports Medicine. Learn more at chkd.org or call the CHKD Sports Injury Hotline.
Cova Painting. We don't just paint, we transform spaces. Visit covapainting.com or call 757-550-7357 and mention the Sportsplex for 10% off of projects over $1,000.
What's up at DQ? Oh, just the best deal ever! The $7 Bacon Cheeseburger Meal Deal. Bacon cheeseburger for a limited time, plus fries, drink, and a sundae. Yeah, this is not the time to be modest. It's all full size for just $7. And there's bacon on that burger. The $7 Bacon Cheeseburger Meal Deal. Now, for a limited time on the $7 Meal Deal lineup. Only at DQ. Happy tastes good.
What does happiness mean to you?
Being in the ocean with you, watching you catch super fun waves.
In Virginia Beach, happiness is breaking barriers and savoring the sunshine.
I couldn't pick a better place or a better person to be with. This is what makes me happy.
Happiness is going all out.
And taking it all in.
Here, happiness is whatever you make it. Find yours in Virginia Beach.
Here with Kingsport head girls basketball coach Maurice Fofana. His team wins the MLK Day of Dreams Showcase matchup with Norfolk Christian as they're moving along here, Coach. 30 points from Brittany Evans, 23 from the East Carolina signee Riley Height. A nice 1-2 punch. Your team came out ready to play from the jump. You had to be pleased.
Yes, very pleased. I kind of stick to them hard or stay on them hard about a fast start. You know, normally we have a slow start a lot of times, and we come out in the third quarter, have great third quarters, but we've been focusing on trying to start fast, and those girls came out today and they started fast.
And there was extra motivation from last year's matchup with them, having them get in the W column, but Abuna Roop for them, 6'8" junior center. She's a talented prospect that people are watching and drooling over, but even when she scored inside, your girls didn't get discouraged. I heard you something in the sideline, hey, keep playing and keep playing fast. It seemed like you just didn't want to change your tempo or game plan or deviate no matter what she did, right?
No, we had a game plan and we kind of stuck to it, and I didn't want the kids to get frustrated or deterred and go away from our game plan. You look at it, she had 12 at halftime. She finished the game with 15. I think Mackenzie Cooper done a great job with her, just defending her, fronting her, boxing her out. She did a great job. I don't know what the numbers was at the end for Mackenzie, but she did a great job. Soraya Williams came off the bench. She gave us good minutes, just being able to defend. So we had a game plan and we kind of stuck with it.
I spoke to your assistant, Calvin Mason, a week or two ago, and I saw you play Deep Creek. I mentioned Riley Height. She was already a good player, but it looks like this year she's taken a step. She's watching it. She scores it effortlessly. What have you seen from her maturation process? And ECU's getting a gem, aren't they?
Absolutely. I think they're getting a steal on her, and she is she's college ready. She's college ready. She's grown so much over the years. I mean, I'm so proud of her. I tell her all the time from where she came in her 8th grade year to where she's at now. And she's do it all for me, kid. She's been with me for a while, and she know, hey, coach don't want me to do this, coach will let me do this. And I kind of give my kids the freedom to play. I kind of give them the freedom to play, and they know when it's time to pull it in and when they getting out too far.
Sure. You've built a culture and a tradition here at Kingsport. You expect to compete for championships going back to the group when you had Khadidra Croker and others. And I know you'll say goodbye to some valuable seniors, but you have some good youngsters coming. In Class 5, certainly Princess Anne's the queen. Mitchell's very good. You've run into those teams before. What's it going to take for the Bulldogs to be playing full games come March? Because this team has that potential to do that.
Yeah, we had the potential, but, you know, we kind of take it one game at a time. I don't want to look ahead and say that, hey, we start playing for Minchville or PA. Those teams are going to be there. We know they're going to be there. And when it's time to play them, we'll be ready.
Well, we'll see you then on the March to March. Thank you so much. Congrats on the win.
All right, thank you.
This is 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Here are Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
Look who's here! 41 minutes after showtime. We are joined by the coach Ed Young, and you heard from Maurice Fofana of the Kingsport girls, who got themselves a satisfying win over Norfolk Christian on Monday at the MLK Day of Dreams Showcase. You also heard from Callen Morrison, had the buzzer beater for Denbigh, and Coach Jay Grimes. We say good morning to the coach, we see he's in transit. He's on the move. He's getting away from the snow, folks. He's driving away. He's driving in fear. Good morning, sir.
The coach greets. Oh, good morning to everybody. I'm a little late. Little overtime practice. Yeah, we a little bit. We got a lot to work on. A whole lot to work on.
40 minutes.
We went back to the proverbial drawing board on some things, and a little bit more serious nature. I've got a young fella that's going through a hard time right now with parents in the midst of a divorce, and he's having a real hard time at home with this, and really don't know what to do, and it's affected his play, it's affected his grades, and he came to me for advice, and he had tears in his eyes, and that's a hard part of coaching that you cannot ignore, and we had a long talk about some things, so hopefully I can get him on the right path. He's a very important player for us, very good player for us, so we're trying to get him straight, trying to get the team straight, trying to get me straight, getting the whole world straight, so I'm on the move so I can beat the weather Armageddon, or whatever they call that. You earlier in the week trying to tell me we're going to get 15 inches of snow. Ain't no way that's going to happen.
I mean, I'm bummed. Listen, it's cold all over America. And by the way, people already asking. We got up here. Will they have school on Monday? Will War Hill High School sports 2026 out there wants to know? You're saying yes. Oh no, folks. He's already putting the hex on it already declaring we're going to get school, no snow. Don't do this. You did this. I'm going to bring it up to Tim Kurkjian when he comes on, that you like to tell people that we're going to bring it up to Tim when he comes on. Trust me. You like to tell people we get no snow. And then what happens is my tournaments get snowed out. All kinds of issues happen, as Woody says hello to you out there with your tardiness. I mean, why do you do this? You get people all up in arms by becoming a meteorologist, and you have no meteorology background. And now I think your reception is frozen, Ed. I don't know what's going on. I don't even. Oh, now we hear you. You're good. I have. Now you froze again. You froze again. Try again. Go ahead. Take two. Take three. Go ahead. I don't know if we got him. Your reception is very, 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 very bad here. You keep freezing. I don't know what's going on with your phone here. It might be overheating. Let's try talking again because you keep going in and out. Try it one more time.
How about now? Can you hear me?
I got you now. Go ahead.
All right. Well, you said it's freezing. It is. It's 20 degrees out here right now. So it is freezing.
Okay. But why do you do all this to get people so
Because it never snows in Tidewater. Hampton Roads, we don't get much snow.
Wait. I've had tournaments snowed out or postponed or canceled because of this. Don't tell me it never snows in Tidewater. I have evidence.
No. You had teams that had to cancel on you because they got snow in their area and couldn't travel. That's not our area.
Edward, that's not true. You're telling lies now. Tell the truth. I can tell you for a fact. Hold on now. This is my 5th year Lady Monarchs basketball broadcasting, okay, for ODU women. My first year, it snowed so much, and that was one of the 2 sessions of the Classic. They put me up in the Spring Hill Suites next to the arena so I could get to the arena. And it did snow last year because we had a game on a Thursday against Arkansas State that we won, unlike the one we just lost on the road, which is no straight from our time. They put us up, and we had to get me and Chip Tarkenton and the whole hotel had to get a driver to get us to the arena. And it snowed. That's 2 evidences of snow in the last 5 years. So I don't know where your memory bank is. You just block it out like it never happened. It has snowed, and it will snow, and you have to go get milk and eggs and bread before it all goes out of the stores. You got to take cover, ladies and gents. It's going to be bad. Like he said, 20 degrees is cold.
Hey, speaking of that mess, I went to the store last night. Can the people that took the dude that had 17 loaves of bread, the lady that had 7 gallons of milk, and the other lady that took out 15 4-packs of toilet paper, can you bring some of that stuff back so the rest of us can live for a week?
No. You have to go pay her a visit at her house, whether you like her or not. To use the toilet paper, use the bread, get you some toast, some butter, some eggs. And by the way, thank you, Super E out there. At least Super Eric Rogers got my back out there. My Law and Order brother in cloth, as we like to say. Several VA Preps Classics have been slowed down. And Super E would know he's a longtime loyal supporter and follower. There's not a bigger basketball junkie out there in the world than Super E. So, yeah, thank you. So stop telling these lies, Ed. Fake news. You know what the fake news on TV.
I have no reason to lie. I'm telling you. It's not going to snow here. We're going to maybe get some ice, which is worse. I'd rather have snow than ice. Because these people around here can't drive on dry weather, let alone ice or snow. So, yeah, ice is nothing to play with.
Well, I see he's not on yet because he's just got his home office, but Timmy is going to be with us in about 12, 13 minutes or so. So keep your rant to a minimum here because I know you want to discuss this on the program. I teased it earlier that a Senate Bill 220 is in the works where lawmakers are proposing student-athlete eligibility changing after the situation with Varina athlete Darren Williams. He was benched by Henrico County Schools. They questioned if he lived full-time with his grandma in the Varina district, blah, 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 blah. Long story short, he goes to St. James Academy, private school. Varina wins the state championship without him. The VHSL has a rule that typically eligibility requires a bona fide change of family residence, and students who do not meet that requirement may face a 365-day period of ineligibility. Waivers and hardship exceptions are available through a formal appeals process. And now this bill that's been introduced by Senator Mike Jones, I don't think he's kin to Mike Jones of Old Dominion or the Mike Jones that coaches at UNCG, but now it would require the VHSL to revise the rules so that enrollment in a public high school rather than residency determines the eligibility for an athlete. So I'm going to share it here on the screen for a second for folks that are trying to grasp this or process this. We'll actually show you the exact bill here. Here it is, Senate Bill 220. It was offered up January 14th, and it shows here, number one, be ineligible for 2 school years to compete in interscholastic athletic competition if it has been determined by the school principal and division superintendent that the student used anabolic steroids during the training period immediately preceding or during the sports season of the athletic team unless such steroid was prescribed by a licensed physician for a medical condition. And 2, and I'll do with steroids here, be deemed to satisfy any residency requirements established by such corporation in order to be eligible for participation on such team if the student is duly enrolled in the high school at which he is a member of the athletic team. There you have it. That's the bill number 220. Ed, I know you want to scream and holler and rant and rave because this has you all up in arms. Go right ahead. Go right ahead.
All right, first of all, Mr. Jones, nobody put you in office to worry about eligibility. How about your blank blank get us taxes down? How about
we heard taxes down and then you cut out again. I don't know if you were saying some words that the powers that be cut you out or if your phone cut you out. All right, now you're backwards. Go ahead. You stopped at taxes. Try it again. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Congress people have no business in being in high school sports. Nothing has been done wrong to the kid and the family. We have rules in place. The problem is too many jokers out there, parents trying to get around it. Well, I want my kid to play in a better program. I don't like this coach. I don't like this school. Their academics are no good. Well, then move your butt to that district if you want to do that. Or if you have a relative in that district, have them gain guardianship legally. That's a court process. And now they can be eligible at the school you want to send them to. Or we have this 365-day rule. You can go anywhere you want, but you got to sit out 365 days. So how about using the rules as put to you? And by the way, Mr. Jones, I'm pretty sure that you were voted in by the people out of your area, your district, so to speak. And if the people aren't in your district, they can't vote for you. So how about we get rid of that rule too, that we should be able to vote for anybody for Congress in the state or state legislature, Senate, whatever the heck it is. I don't believe in any of the doggone politicians to begin with. Y'all have a bag of hot air. All you do is tell us what you're going to do when you get in there. Then you don't do it when you get in there. We still suffer, and we wait to get your butts out of there as soon as possible. So, yes, they have no business doing this. The Varina parent, move your kid to everything is taken care of. This blows my mind that people want to do what they want to do, and they want to do it how to do it. That's not how the world works. Follow it. When someone tells me about 5 of their kids transferred, that's why they're not any good. They're better kids transferring out. They would have kept their butt at that school, that program would be all right. as well as, if you have bad coaches, well, that's a subjective decision right there, whether it's a bad coach or not. That's just an easy escape for the ineptness of your kid playing. That's usually how that comes out. So again, it's a joke. What I want to say can't, because it'll get me suspended and banned off the podcast world. I'm tired of this stuff. Legislators, you are voted in to help the people with the way we're living, not worry about somebody's residency as to eligibility for athletics. We have a governed body for that. That is all. I'm okay.
Okay. We got you fired up enough here. I'm glad you curtailed that. But I will tell you this from one of my sources in the know. That person claims to me this has got to pass both houses of General Assembly. And the VHSL has lobbyists on payroll to shoot stuff down. And some way people thought the homeschool bill was a sure thing to pass, and it didn't. So I think people are now expecting this to pass, and that this is going to definitely go into effect. And it's still got some steps to go. And we shall see if it does or doesn't. But this will be something we revisit.
Let me go to Richmond and lobby against it. I got something to say. Let them let me in there.
Well, go ahead. You've made that trips plenty of times. We won't go into why and how and when, but you know how to get there.
I know where exactly the state assembly is. Let me go there and explain this. You know, I don't agree with the VHSL on a lot of things, and people know this. But this is a situation I do. But I would say this to the VHSL. Enforce the rules that you have. That's the problem. We have too many kids at the wrong schools for the wrong reasons. It needs to be enforced. If you can't enforce that rule, then I have been the one that says we should have a portal rule that in 1 month, let's say July, athletes are allowed to go whatever school district they want. They have to pay a certain fee, and they have to have their own transportation, and it has to be documented. And it's a one-time transfer. We're not doing college stuff where every year you get to bounce around to whatever school you want. We already know the NCAA is a joke. Let's not make Virginia high school athletics a joke and have kids playing at different sports all over the place. That's not that. I'm not going for that.
Wow. Okay. Before we take a time out, we're going to talk Major League Baseball coming up here in just a bit with Tim Kurkjian, the Hall of Famer from ESPN. If you got any baseball questions, and a couple of them shot to us through the Twitter or the X that we'll pass along to Tim if time permits, and it should. Ed, I do want to throw to you because I teased this earlier in the show that we have one remaining undefeated boys basketball team in the state of Virginia, with the losses in the last 48, 72 hours by the likes of LC Bird and Highland Springs and Broad Run last night to Heritage of Leesburg. Highland Springs lost to aforementioned Verina last night at home, and Bird lost to Manchester and Midlothian. So a lot of 804 and Nova flavor there, more so than the 757. Two big games last night in the 757 involved Hampton sweeping Woodside and Kings Fork outlasting Oscar Smith. And we'll have more on those games and more of our chatter on our Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday edition of 757 Sports Talk, which you can always catch on Cova Sports TV and Cox and Your View through television. 8 o'clock Eastern on Monday nights, 12 noon Eastern on Tuesdays, and 4 o'clock Eastern on Wednesdays. They're the channels in Hampton Roads, Nova, Fredericksburg, and Roanoke. But, Ed, what's the last unbeaten boys basketball team in Virginia right now? Do you know?
Oh, boy, I'm going to have to make a wild guess. Is it in Class 2A?
No, it's not in Class 2. Nice try. It's in the class that your school currently participates in.
It's a 4A school, huh?
It's a Class 4 school. It's not in Region 4A. It's in a different region from your region. So that tells you it's in either B, C, or D.
Okay, so it's Class 4, though. It's Class 4.
It is Class 4. That is correct, sir.
Is it Albemarle?
Albemarle is in Class 5, so no, it's not Albemarle.
Not Western Albemarle.
You should have known that because we broadcasted the Albemarle Green Run Championship game, you knucklehead.
Right.
But I know your brain's all over the place this morning. But go ahead. You give up?
Yeah, I'm going to have to give up. But I know it's 4.
It's the EC Glass Hilltoppers of Lynchburg,
wow.
Who, ironically enough, are coached by a Lansdowne grad who did not play at Lansdowne. I think he was just a student manager, DJ Best. How about that? He lost a few years ago in a state championship to Verina. But the last unbeaten, it's EC Glass. So if EC Glass doesn't get to the tournament undefeated, we could have not a single unbeaten boys basketball team in Virginia. Class 6 down to Class 1, which would be wild. Before we do take a break, rules question for you, Ed. Can a player play in a JV game and an immediately following varsity game in Virginia? You would know the rule book because it's like the back of your hand, yes or no?
No, I don't. I'm 95% sure in Virginia you can't do that. There are some states you can, but Virginia you cannot.
But you can play in a JV game and then a varsity game, just not on the same day?
Yes. I think you could play a total of Virginia's 23 games. As long as your regular season total doesn't go over 23, you can mix and match for a player.
So the devil's advocate in me says, why does it matter? You can play 20 games. Let's say you have a varsity JV makeup game. Why can't you play them both in the same day? Why does it have to be in different days?
That's a good question because
I just threw it to you.
You should be able to do it, but the VHSL says no. I don't know what their main idea why. Is it too much on the kid, or maybe they don't want guys doubling down. Maybe varsity coaches would play a varsity guy down on JV, stack up a JV. I'm not sure what the push behind that would be, but I'm pretty sure you can't play more than a total of 23 games combined JV varsity in the state of Virginia. If somebody want to back me up on that, I have no problem with that. I know I'm from Pennsylvania, where you're allowed, unless they change the rule, you could play 2 quarters of JV, let's say, and then play 2 quarters of varsity on the same night. Their rule was you couldn't play more than 4 quarters of basketball other than overtime in one night. That's how the PA rule was. I don't know if that's still true. That was way back in the day. But Virginia, I'm pretty sure you cannot play on the same day, and it's a total of 23 games.
Good to know. We've got more coming here on 757 Sports Talk, including NFL Conference Championship picks to close out the show. You missed it earlier, Ed. I brought up Chad Pender of Poquoson High School, former standout with the Athletics, now the new manager for the AAA team with the Chicago White Sox in Charlotte. And we're going to talk more baseball coming up, though. Big league style, off-season moves, and all that's happening with Tim Kurkjian of ESPN, the Major League Baseball analyst and good friend of the program, who's a Hall of Famer. When we come back here on 757 Sports Talk, a quick word from those who help make it possible. Stay tuned. You're watching 757 Sports Talk here on Cova Sports TV.
Did you know that the minimum limits in Virginia are $30,000? $30,000 is a lot of money on an individual basis, but if you're involved in a personal injury matter, that's not enough. Here at Williams Deloach, we're happy to provide a consultation on the amount of coverage you have in your vehicle. It can be confusing. Not many people understand it. You know you need to have it, but do you have enough? Give us a call today at 757-547-5555 so we can help you prepare in the case of an automobile accident or any other personal injury matter that you or your family may find yourself in.
For any athlete, making it to the top sometimes comes with a few steps back. That's why there's CHKD Sports Medicine. Advanced diagnostics, treatment, and rehabilitation for sports injuries, just for young athletes like yours.
What's up at DQ? Oh, just the best deal ever. The $7 bacon cheeseburger meal deal. Bacon cheeseburger, fries, drink, and a sundae. No time to be modest. It's all full size for just $7. Right now at DQ. Happy tastes good.
And now back to Matthew Hatfield and the evil basketball coach. Blast you, Ed Young!
Welcome you back to 757 Sports Talk. Like, share, and subscribe to Cova Sports TV and interact with us wherever you are tuning in. As we now have with us a special guest. He is the longtime Major League Baseball analyst, reporter, author, radio host, TV host for ESPN. He's in the Hall of Fame in Cooperstown. Our good buddy and friend, Tim Kurkjian. Tim, thanks for coming on the program. Before we dive into all the baseball, I have to know, it is Snowmageddon right now across the East Coast here. Have you hit the grocery store and gotten all your milk and eggs and bread, and are you preparing for what's to come?
Yes, I've been to the grocery store twice today. I am the most inefficient shopper ever. I go to the grocery store about 3 times every day anyway, because I'm so bad at figuring out what we need. I do all the cooking at home. I am terrible at it. We pray after we eat at my house. And yes, I have plenty of food in the refrigerator and in the pantry for however long we are trapped here. But the food is there. It just won't be any good because I will be making it.
Okay, well, just remember when all these bad things happen to blame my co-host, Coach Young, who has been doing this for almost 20 years now on our radio now turned podcast and television program, where he declares to our entire audience watching statewide in Virginia and beyond all over the country that we'll get no snow. And I've had a basketball tournament for 16 years, and 6 of them have had to be rescheduled or postponed. So when you lay your head down at night, say that god-awful basketball coach from Tidewater in Virginia, who's a diehard Yankee fan, he's the one for all these problems.
And when I have no power tonight or tomorrow night, when the ice absolutely wrecks our house, I'm going to call you and you are going to provide heat to my house. Okay.
There you go.
Well, Tim, first of all, thanks for coming on, man. We really appreciate you. Now, I told Tim, I said our area is not going to get snow. Now, your area up there, you're getting about a foot at least. So hopefully that food will cook well. You'll be able to do a little bit better. Or just make some Italian, some spaghetti meatballs. I know you can't mess that up.
I love Italian food, and I know how to make spaghetti and meatballs, but it would be helpful if someone else cooked for me, but that doesn't work.
Well, let's go into your specials. Go ahead, Ed.
I was going to say, I'll tell you what, Tim, if I was in the area, nobody makes better lasagna than I do.
Wow. Really good.
Well, then you need next time you're up, because you're up in the D.C., Maryland area, right, Tim?
Yes.
Okay, next time you're up there for a Yankee-Oriole game, and Tim's got a little bit of time, since he's been so kind to us for many, many years, you owe Tim a nice lasagna. You do. I think that would be fair. Wouldn't you say, Tim? He should get you some lasagna.
Yeah, and I love lasagna. I make chicken parm, okay, chicken marsala pretty well, chicken, yeah, I can do those two pretty well.
Okay, good deal. Let's get into your specialty, though. I know it's not cooking, it's baseball here and the offseason. There's a lot of chatter about what might happen next year, but before we even touch on that here, some recent offseason moves. We know about the Dodgers picking up Kyle Tucker. The Mets here have been pretty busy with Bo Bichette, Freddie Peralta, Luis Robert. What in the last couple of weeks here has been the most, I guess you could say, interesting to you on the offseason transactions front?
Well, you identified them both. The Dodgers are so good. We're in the middle of a dynasty right now. Last 6 years, 3 championships and a winning percentage of .630. The last team to have a 6-year stretch with 3 championships and a winning percentage that high was the 53 through 58 Yankees. That's how good the Dodgers are. And now they're better because they've signed Edwin Diaz to be their closer. He is a dominant 9th inning pitcher. And Kyle Tucker, for me, was the best everyday player on the free agent market. So the best team just got a whole lot better. Let's not forget they won the World Series in 2024 without a starting rotation. And then they won last year without a bullpen. Now they have a great starting rotation, a much better bullpen, tremendous everyday lineup. So the Dodgers are one team that has really gotten better in the offseason, not like they really needed to. And the Mets, as you mentioned, Matthew, they have gotten significantly better in the last 6 weeks. Marcus Semien really gives them an upgrade at second base defensively. Luis Robert Jr. is a terrific defensive center fielder. Now we're going to see if he can find his swing again. And they've added Freddie Peralta for their starting rotation. He will be their best pitcher when the season begins. And Bo Bichette, that guy can hit no matter where he plays or what position he plays. They'll probably play him at third base. The Mets have gotten demonstrably better the last 6 weeks, and they'll be a very interesting team to watch going into spring training.
Before I let Ed jump back in here with you, Tim, about, I'm sure, the Yankees and other topics of note here, it brings me to with the Mets additions, as you know, here in the Hampton Roads market in Tidewater. One of the big things about our area is Norfolk Tides with a long-time AAA minor league club for the New York Mets. Now they're the AAA club for the Baltimore Orioles. So I look at those two teams, the Orioles, who made two big additions, one of which includes a former Met and Pete Alonso, the polar bear at first base, and Taylor Ward, who had a heck of a year with the Angels a season ago, part of that Grayson Rodriguez trade. Those two teams, the O's and the Mets, with their additions, how much movement do you see upward in their divisions, which are really, really fierce? In the American League East, with the Blue Jays, defending AL champs, and Boston, and the Yankees, and in the case of the Mets, with the Phillies and the Braves, who should be healthy this year. How much movement upward do you see those teams making, and is it all going to be dependent upon starting pitching for both?
Right. The Mets have gone from a 500 team for me to a contender for the wild card and maybe even a contender with the Phillies and the Braves in the National League East. That's how much improved they are. And they still have some work to do. They're going to miss Pete Alonso, but they've done some good things there. The Orioles have done some good things also. I mean, Pete Alonso is going to hit between 40 and 50 home runs, maybe even more for the Orioles. Shane Baz is really going to add something to their starting rotation. Remember, a couple of years ago, he had one of the best arms in baseball. I still think they need another starting pitcher. Framber Valdez would fit perfectly, but he would fit perfectly with a lot of teams. And yes, Taylor Ward's really going to add something to that offense. Remember how terrible their production was from first base last year. Alonso is really going to take care of things over there. And he plays every day, and he loves to play the game. So I think they have moved themselves into at least the possibility of having the second best team in the American League East behind the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays, to me, are better than the Orioles. That's clear. The Blue Jays made a great run through the World Series. They should have won the World Series, and they've improved in the offseason. But the Yankees are better. The Red Sox are slightly better. Orioles are definitely better. So I think it's going to be a very strong division with three teams going for second place, and all three of them could make the playoffs. But I think Toronto's still the best team in the division.
You heard it there from Tim, Ed.
Yeah, Tim, I kind of agree with you. Before I get to my beloved Yankees, the Mets, though. Bichette at third, he's never played it. Polanco at first, I think he's played a couple games. It seems like they're just trying to bring in names. Let's get him in here, and then we'll worry about where to play him later. And one of their biggest problems, I thought, last year was on the defensive side. And I don't see how they improved that at all. What is it, because they have the money to throw at it? What are the Mets really trying to do here?
Well, you're right. A lot of teams these days just get a hitter and just put him at a position and just say, all right, you're going to, whatever you do defensively, you're going to make up for it offensively. I think Bo Bichette can play third base. I don't think he's much of a shortstop anymore, but we saw him play second base in the World Series last year, and I thought he did amazingly well for a guy who had never played that position ever. Third base is on the same side as shortstop. I think he'll be okay there, but I think wherever you put him, they're going to hit. And I think they have upgraded their defense, at least in two spots, at second base with Marcus Semien, who's a Gold Glover, and with Luis Robert Jr., who's a former Gold Glover. But, yeah, the Mets still have some work to do, but they needed offensive help, especially after losing Pete Alonso. And I think they've added help in 4 different positions.
Well, it brings me to the Yankees. I sat through this with Bellinger, like, all right, Bellinger, you talked about being a Yankee and everything was great. And then it took forever, and it took forever. And they signed him. Meanwhile, they really didn't do a whole lot else. And I know Steinbrenner's talking about not upping that salary, the luxury tax, whatever. We have a good team already. We just need a couple little pieces. We're going to get some pitchers back. I don't know if they've really improved that much. Obviously, you're closer to the situation I am. How are the Yankees going to be? Did they improve? And what's really going on with that group?
All right. They have improved because when they lost to Toronto in the playoffs last year, and I covered that series, did the games on the radio, it was clear, and Aaron Boone said it after the games, the Blue Jays took it to us. They were younger, better defensively, more athletic, more aggressive, and it showed in every game played. So Cody Bellinger is going to help that athleticism because he's still relatively young. He can play multiple positions at a high level defensively. He can run, and he's exactly what they needed. And you can play him in various places all over the field, and he will do a good job defensively. They still have significant questions, but they think they're going to be answered when Garrett Cole comes back, which we're never quite sure with a Tommy John guy. Cam Schlittler is going to be there all season. He looks like the real thing to me. So I kind of like what the Yankees did, but they still have another move to make if they're going to challenge the Blue Jays and win that division. I still think they have a playoff team there, but we're starting to see in the playoffs, this just isn't good enough for the Yankees to try to beat you hitting the ball out of the ballpark, because it didn't work last year. They're still working on becoming a more well-rounded team, but Cody Bellinger certainly helps in that process.
If you got a baseball-related question for Tim Kurkjian, ESPN MLB analyst and Hall of Famer, our guest here, you can do so here on Cova Sports TV. Like, share, and subscribe. You can also check out Tim's podcast. We'll tell you about that with him and his son as well here on this edition of the program with us on 757 Sports Talk. We do have a couple questions that have come in for you, Tim. One from Roger in Chesapeake wants to know, Seattle, can they get to the World Series? They've been close. In fact, I see one of the preseason magazines, for what it's worth, has them winning the American League. What do you make of the M's, who had a heck of a showing last year, those series with Detroit and Toronto? Are they equipped to win this American League?
I think Toronto's the best team in the American League, but yes, Seattle can win the American League pennant and go to the World Series for the first time. Their starting pitching is ridiculously good. They have 5 quality starting pitchers, and they started to build more of an offensive team last year. But I'm still not sold that they're going to score enough runs to be a dominant team in the American League. They're going to have to get a little bit more production from Julio Rodriguez, star player, early in the season. And then you have to wonder if the catcher, Cal Raleigh, is going to hit 60 homers again. That kid is great. He's going to be a really good player for 10 more years. I'm sure of that. But I just wonder about their offense. Are they going to score enough runs to be a dominant team? But, yeah, I would pick them to win the AL West right now. And with that starting pitching, you get in the playoffs, you can go a long way.
Another question I'll throw your way here, Tim, before Ed jumps back in here. Rod in Suffolk wants to know, he's a diehard Guardians fan, how remarkable is the new Jose Ramirez extension, and will they make a run at anyone to add a bat? We know about them trying to keep Stephen Kwan and what happened last year with all the gambling and everything, but the Ramirez extension, will they add a bat in your eyes?
Yeah, they need to add another hitter or two. First off, the extension was tremendous news for Ramirez, but more for the Guardians. That guy is a future Hall of Famer. He is one of the best players in the game, and he has been for a long time. But they need to add some punch around him, and I just don't know if they have the funds to do that. Now, they made the playoffs last year. It was a miracle run towards the end, and they did it with a bullpen. It was down 2 guys, including their closer, because of the betting violations and everything else. I'm so impressed with the way the Guardians go about things, but they need to add another hitter, and soon.
Yeah, it's an amazing organization there with Chernoff and Stephen Vogt and the managers dugout there 2 years in a row as the guy that's leading the charge there after Terry Francona. We're talking with Tim Kurkjian, MLB analyst from ESPN, Hall of Famer. Again, if you got a question, you can jump in here on our Cova Sports TV YouTube channel or send it to us through X, Twitter, Facebook, all different outlets here with us on 757 Sports Talk. Ed?
Tim, is there anybody else that maybe really proved themselves over the summer over the winter, and let's watch out for them? And maybe the second part of the question is somebody who you thought was going to be okay, but maybe didn't do as much as they should have and may not go up and possibly down.
I really like what the Cubs did in the offseason. Look, they were a playoff team last year, but they re-signed Shota Imanaga, who's their best pitcher, and that really, really helps them. They added Alex Bregman to play third base. He's going to bring a winning culture there, which is already there, thanks in part to Craig Counsell. Now they have a really good offensive and defensive infield. So I think the Cubs have positioned themselves to win that division. and maybe even be a challenge to the Dodgers in the postseason. That's what I really am impressed by what the Cubs have done. They've added in several different areas, and they're a very good team right now. As for the player that I just can't get my hands around where Adley Rutschman is right now for the Orioles. He came up as such a good player. He's the face of the franchise. He was such a really good catcher, but he has really fallen off offensively the last year and a half, and it's a mystery to everyone. I was certain he would come back in 2025 and have a great season, and he didn't. And now I think there are questions like, what has happened to this guy? Now, the beauty of baseball is this kind of stuff happens all the time to good players, and suddenly they find it and they're good again. That's what I think is going to happen to Adley Rutschman, but there are people who have questions about him right now, and I just never saw that coming several years ago.
Yeah, to follow up on that, Tim, we have a lot of diehard Orioles fans, as you know, here in the 757 area code with the Norfolk Tides being the AAA team. And I heard this from even the commentators up there that do the games, specifically Jim Palmer and those guys. But the catcher position being, it's hard. It's such a physical toll. I mean, that's what we marvel at, why Cal Raleigh's been able to do what he's done, and guys that did it for years like Pudge Rodriguez and Mike Piazza. But he is 28 years of age, I think it is. So he's not one of the older catchers, but he's not a spring chicken either. But that is a head-scratching thing there. Do you think they use him more in different spots like DH, or what? Is there a solution there for that?
Yeah, they're going to have to move him around because they have another catcher. Sam Basayo has great power and has a chance to be a really good major league hitter. But I think if Adley Rutschman is on your team, and clearly he is, he needs to be the primary catcher, and he needs to catch as many games as possible. Now, if they see that the physical toll behind the plate is affecting him at the plate, then they're going to have to keep moving him around. But first base is now taken. And you don't want a guy who, used to be such a good defensive catcher being your DH. But I think they need to move him around, keep him fresher. They need to try something to get him back to where he was, 2 or 3 years ago. And that will be a key for the Orioles this year.
Good deal. If you remember, with Tim Kurkjian, MLB analyst for ESPN, our guest here on 757 Sports Talk and Cova Sports TV. I guess I'll address the elephant in the room here and let Ed follow up with you here, Tim. And this is America's pastime, the game you've spent your entire life with and love, but the labor negotiations that are heating up here. And then what's transpired with the Dodgers, it's much like, Ed will get mad at me saying this, but the Yankees in the 90s and early 2000s, where it seemed like they just continue to buy. And it is the Yankees, the Mets, the Dodgers, the health of the sport right now. And do you fear about what's coming after the CBA expires, where we are with this, and how do you think it plays out in your eyes?
Yeah, I'm worried, like most people who cover the game or are in the game, is that I think at this moment there is a much better average chance that we're going to have a work stoppage next year. The CBA expires on December the 1st, and we got to get something going now. But it's not all the Dodgers' fault. Let's not blame them. So many teams have spent so much money, but it's just not healthy when the Dodgers have a $400 million payroll, which they're expected to have this year, and a couple other teams are going to be under $100 million. We have to address that. But fellas, I covered the 81 strike. 81, that was 45 years ago. And we're still talking about some of the same problems that we had back then. And the owners say we need a salary cap. Well, that's not happening as long as the union is in place, which it is. So I'm really worried about where we're going to be 11 months from now. But let's just hope both sides, who are very far apart at the moment, get together and find a way. There is so much money in the game right now for players and for owners. It's got to be divided better. We got to find a way to make this work, because a lockout, a work stoppage would be potentially devastating for baseball in 2027.
Yeah, it would be. It really would be, Ed.
Yeah, and Tim, my feeling is with this salary cap, to me, I think it's going to be the big stumbler that definitely will hold people out, because if the owners are going to come together and say, we got to stop this. Of course, the Dodgers aren't going to say it. Is it going to be the main topic that can hurt the game, or is there a couple other things that might? Because you kind of alluded to the fact that the union is not going to agree on salary cap. Something great would have to happen for them for the cap to go into place. But is there maybe some other points of interest that we're not really looking at, or is it basically salary cap?
It's basically the salary cap, but we just have to find a way to bring the under $100 million payrolls and the $400 million payroll and somehow get them closer together. Luxury tax, revenue sharing. We've been talking about this for 50 years, and we still don't have a workable situation. If I were the Dodgers and I had this kind of freedom to do whatever I wanted, I'd do the same thing, deferred money, everything else. But the cap is going to be what is going to be discussed. We have to find a way to get something done without a salary cap coming in, because I repeat, the union is just not going to allow that to happen.
Well, Tim, can we? I'm sorry, Matt. Tim, can we flip it? Can we say a floor cap, and would the union be for that? It's more money, or the owner's going to say, no, we're not doing that, because is there more owners underpaying or more owners overpaying? So can we flip it, and would that be the issue? A floor cap?
Yeah, a floor has been discussed many times, and yes, it seems logical that it would help that if you don't have $125 million payroll or 150, you get out of the game. If you can't afford it, then you got to go sell your team. But that isn't very easy to do either. And there are enough people who make a valid point that, okay, if we're at 80 million and we're going to win, 60 games at 80 million, and if we get to 100 million, we're going to win 63 games. Well, what's the difference? 3 wins cost you $20 million. The owners are not going to look at that way. So the floor makes a lot of sense, but it's just not as easy as it seems.
Sports love dominant teams, Tim, certainly whether it's the Yankees or the Dodgers. But, and I hate to say this off what was one of the all-time World Series, as you well know, covering it last year, went 7 games and dramatic finishes. But in some ways, does it have long affecting hurt to a sport? I know that the Yankees run came after the strike in the mid-90s, but if the Dodgers continue to win 3-4 of these things and they continue to stockpile some of these mega names, does it hurt the sport in your eyes? And is there a way to solve that?
Again, that's what the CBA is all about. How do we handle one team with a payroll this high and others so low? I'm just not going to say that the Dodgers are bad for baseball. I mean, every great drama needs a villain and a hero. And in some people's minds, the Dodgers are the villains. Frankly, I don't look at it that way. They are following the rules. They run their organization so well. They draft and develop so well. Players who go from other teams go to the Dodgers and suddenly get better, really know what they're doing. And again, they're not the only team that's spending a lot of money, but still, they're going to be the poster boys for all of this. And people are saying we are going to have a lockout next year because of the Dodgers. I'm not going that far, but yeah, we have to find a way to make the finances in the game work better. And right now, I don't see a solution.
Very well put. One more comment here from our audience out there that's been chiming in through the Twitter, the X, the Facebook, and YouTube. I think it's a legitimate question here. Actually, we have one here for you. Here it is from Sports 2026 J9V. And I was going back to some of the issues that Ed talked about. And you covered the sports. So you talk to athletes all the time. Are there problems crossing international borders for the major league players? Is that something you've encountered in discussing with people?
Well, there always is. I mean, every spring, guys have visa problems and have trouble getting to spring training. And with everything that happened in Venezuela recently, there are a lot of players who play in the big leagues who are from Venezuela. I expect there to be even more issues getting over here. Let's hope that is not the case. Let's hope everyone recognizes we got to work harder to make sure we get the players here on time. But yes, I think it could be a slightly bigger problem this year with everything that's going on around the world right now.
All right, there you have it from Tim Kurkjian. Before we let you run here, Tim, tell the folks how they can check out more of your work in the pod with you and your son. Are you guys still doing it in the off season, or how has it changed in terms of the schedule with it?
Yeah, we do 1 a week, sometimes 2 a week in the off season. And then once spring training begins, we'll do 3 times a week. We just had Don Mattingly on we did a show on Tuesday and Thursday a couple weeks ago. Don Mattingly was really great, really funny. And yes, is this a great game or what? It's me and my son. We talk about baseball. We talk about other things. He's not a big baseball guy, which is good because he knows so much about other things, pop culture, music, the way the world works, where a poor old pop-up here just knows baseball, basketball, and sitcoms from the 60s. So we're a good mix because he knows stuff that I don't know, most of the stuff that I don't know. And I know baseball better than he does. So it's really been fun. It's been a dream of a lifetime to me to work with my son. And we're in year 3 of our podcast. It's really going well.
That's so awesome. I've checked out a couple of the interviews. You guys do a wonderful job with it. You got the good chemistry, of course, you and your son, and that's really cool for you. And a little bit of frickin' frack, like Ed and I do. We got to have some, disagreements from time to time. And always a pleasure. You enjoy your weekend. And again, make sure you blow up Ed's phone later. If you have no electricity, it's all his fault for all the things he says and all the mean-spirited things he says about me too.
We're going to be warm. I'm just not looking forward to shoveling snow for 48 hours, but I think that's what I'm in for. So thanks for having me, fellas. Talk to you soon.
All right, Tim. Take care. Well, that is the one and only Tim Kurkjian, our guest here on 757 Sports Talk here on Kova Sports TV. He's got to get the snowblower out and shovel the snow. I mean, you say all these things, and then people, you don't realize that your words have meaning and consequences. And guys like Tim, who's such a gentle soul.
He's the best,
great.
Man.
He's so tremendous.
Tim's out shopping 2-3 times a day. He goes home and realizes, dang it, I forgot the milk. Let me go get the milk. Comes home, he forgets, I think I forgot the eggs. Let me go get the egg.
Yeah, and check out that pod. It'd be really cool. The conversation with him and Donnie baseball and with his son. That's pretty cool. I know Mattingly was one of your favorite guys in pinstripes. So we've got more coming your way, and we apologize for some of the questions we didn't get to. Our time's limited with Tim here. We kept him probably over time than we're supposed to as well. But we've got more coming your way here on 757 Sports Talk, including the NFL picks here. You're watching with us. Where, Ed, were they watching?
It's the best place to be, Kova Sports TV.
We got Chicho's Pizza, too, for you.
For any athlete, making it to the top sometimes comes with a few steps back. That's why parents count on CHKD Sports Medicine, advanced diagnostics, treatment, and rehabilitation for sports injuries, just for young athletes like yours. With convenient locations across Hampton Roads and a whole team of experts here to keep your favorite player at the top of their game. CHKD Sports Medicine. Learn more at chkd.org or call the CHKD Sports Injury Hotline.
Kova Painting. We don't just paint, we transform spaces. Visit kovapainting.com or call 757-550-7357 and mention the Sportsplex for 10% off of projects over $1,000.
What's up at DQ? Oh, just the best deal ever! The $7 bacon cheeseburger meal deal. Bacon cheeseburger for a limited time, plus fries, drink, and a sundae. Yeah, this is not the time to be modest. It's all full size for just $7. And there's bacon on that burger. The $7 bacon cheeseburger meal deal. Now, for a limited time on the $7 meal deal lineup. Only at DQ. Happy tastes good.
What does happiness mean to you?
Being in the ocean with you, watching you catch super fun waves.
In Virginia Beach, happiness is breaking barriers and savoring the sunshine.
I couldn't pick a better place or a better person to be with. This is what makes me happy.
Happiness is going all out.
And taking it all in.
Here, happiness is whatever you make it. Find yours in Virginia Beach.
I grew up here. I know this town. I know the people here. More important, they know me. As a banker at Town Bank, we become part of the communities we serve. The people who bank with us, our members, know us. When you bank with Town Bank, you'll know your banker. you'll know you can reach us, and you'll know we're here for you.
All right, here with Catholic head basketball coach Bobby Steinberg. His Crusaders win at 67-63 in overtime at the MLK Day of Dreams Showcase in Suffolk. It goes past 11 Eastern. Coach, past your bedtime and mine. But what a battle. You were down 14 in the first half, but you found a way to fight, claw, scratch, and persevere after losing a couple of close games against other public schools in the 7-5-7 this month.
You know what? These guys, they had a little bit of a chip on their shoulder coming into the second half. But we had to make some adjustments. We had to get on them a little bit at halftime. But they came out to play. Early on, I thought we were flat. We were settling for a lot of threes and not getting rebounds, not getting offensive rebounds. And we came out, tried to take it to the basket, and it worked.
You were pretty calm, even down 23-9. You got it to 5 at halftime. You just sense, too, with Carter Bullock playing against his former school, 29 points tonight. He made a bunch of clutch free throws in the fourth quarter overtime, that he would settle in at some point.
We knew Carter would settle in. We just had to get some production out of other guys, and we needed to get on the glass. And I don't know the numbers right now, but I think we made some key rebounds down the stretch.
Unofficially, I think it was 14 offensive rebounds, and Dean Williams made some big plays for down the stretch. And how about John Lee's and one for the overtime? It was every time you tie it or they'd tie it, somebody would tie it, and he got a big basket. It seemed to give you a little bit of that cushion, if you will, or a chance to exhale to a degree.
No question. It was a crazy shot, too, but it went in. We'll take it.
You go against another team in their gym in a showcase, a late-night game. I mean, these battles, and I know you beat St. Chris recently, you've had some private school battles too. These have to help you on your journey, correct?
They do. I mean, these are huge tests. I mean, going into this place, this is one of the toughest places to win in the state. Mm-hmm. And so to be able to come in here and just compete, it's going to help us down the stretch as we go into conference now.
I watched you guys against Nansemond River and Oscar Smith, close losses that you could have won, and I came away, I liked what I saw from both Bullock and Dean Williams for you. I felt like it was almost like take your turn. Tonight it seemed like they were in sync and your whole group was in sync after that rough first quarter. Did you get that as well? Has that been kind of a conscious effort for your team here?
Yeah. I mean, we've got it takes all of them. And these guys have been working hard in practice, and they realize that they can't do it without the other guy. And so tonight, I mean, Carter played well. Dean woke up in the second half a little bit, and but it takes all of them. It takes some key defensive possessions with Milo Bose on the ball, and AJ Hall gave us some really good minutes. Josh down the stretch gave us some good minutes. So it takes all of them, man. And on any given night, I always tell them you got to be ready when your number's called.
Sure. Lastly, you're a veteran at this thing, being a college coach now, a high school coach, 15-3, and your group is starting to figure it out. There's a lot to like about that, even though you're still figuring it out, right?
Yeah. A lot to like. I'm lucky. I'm a veteran, but I've got a great staff. Mm-hmm. I put better people around me, and that's what makes us pretty good.
Well, congrats on the win. Go enjoy it and get some rest.
Hampton Roads has a long-running high school and college sports tradition. It's time to give them the spotlight they deserve. This is 757 Sports Talk. Here are Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
So you heard from Bobby Steinberg of the Catholic Crusaders. Excellent overtime win for them over Kings Fork. Went past 11 Eastern. Ed bolted by halftime because he had to get some shut-eye. He couldn't stay up. I powered through, ladies and gents. I missed most of almost the entire national championship game. He had to go home and go see the Hoosiers and Hurricanes. But I stuck it out to chat with a really good guy in Bobby Steinberg, who, by the way, could pass for the uncle of Hezbollah. You know who Hezbollah is, right?
I heard of the name, but I'm not sure.
He's that Russian social media superstar. You're not familiar with Hezbollah? I'm going to show you a picture. He could pass for his uncle. He's got a similar look to him. I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you on the screen since you don't remember Hezbollah. And you'll say, oh, yeah, he does have a little Hezbollah look to him. Looks just like Hezbollah. You'll see it here coming up. You'll see it coming up on the screen when the computer works.
I mean,
there you go. You see it? He's Hezbollah. He could be Hezbollah's uncle, couldn't he? A little bit like Hezbollah. You don't see it?
You got to look hard and for a while.
Oh, come on. It'll be in the photo lookalike contest when we bring it back in March or April. People have been clamoring for it.
I thought
Callen Morrison looks like Jamal Murray, and Bobby Steinberg has a little bit of Hezbollah. I'm telling you. And I say this affectionately. I'm not knocking. So I hope Callen and Bobby and their friends and family don't take this offense to that. But it looks like we know yours is Robert De Niro. So go ahead.
I thought Bobby from a distance reminded me a little bit of another
No, that's way off. That's what. No, you're way off on that. You're way off. He looks more like Hezbollah.
Well, later on, we'll put a picture of them two side by side.
No, Hezbollah will win that. They'll agree with me. Listen, I showed it to a Catholic grad a couple years ago. I showed it to a Catholic grad coming out of the airport, traveling with the Lady Monarchs, and the guy said to me, "Oh yeah, he does look like Hezbollah." I'm telling you, you're wrong. You are just flat out wrong. But you were there that day. You shake your head. You were there that day.
Well, I was there. That game. That was a lot of basketball. I was there about 7.
What did you make of the big girl, man, for Norfolk Christian? I mean, she's longest. I mean, goodness. And then you also were there for the buzzer beater with Denbigh over Norview. I mean, you're sitting there watching. We're all sitting there the whole time saying this is a 6 to 8 point win for Norview. It's a 6 to 8 point win for Norview. Next thing you know, Denbigh found a way. Something about them that's impressive there. And we do our top fives, and we have to change our top fives that we do on the television portion of Cova Sports TV and 757 Sports Talk. For those who don't know, Ed and I have been alternating the last couple of weeks. Girls and boys rankings. We'll show you what they were last week. That was his girls rankings going into last week. It will change because we might flip it again. We'll see if I do the girls, boys, whatever. That was mine going into last week. Obviously, Oscar Smith is out of there. They got smoked by Woodside, and they lost to Kings Fork on Friday night. Norview and Lake Tedder. By the way, Lake Tedder falls to Granby on Friday night. Here comes Granby in 5B. When I teased it to folks, watch out for the Comets. Here they come. Deshaun Spellman, Antonio Williams, Ryan Bailey, Gabe Saul and the gang. Here they come. And you got that region that is really rugged. Woodside falls to Hampton. And we've got, I want you to hear from Stephon Welsh coming up before we bid adieu with our NFL picks. We got that conversation coming up. And I'm going to say it on the show, and I'm going to make some people mad. And I know you might, and I know Stephon Welsh and everyone will agree with me. I don't like what 5B is doing. 5B has decided to put its tournament. I have no problem with Norview High School. I think it's a nice venue. But every other region does it off 1 seeds or neutral sites. 5B predetermines it at Norview. So if Norview wasn't the 1 seed, which they're in position to get this year and earn it, there was years where they hosted Woodside. It wasn't right. There were years where they were a higher seed like last year and go to Woodside. That's not right. I don't know what 5B is doing. I have no idea what they're doing. I don't know if they know what they're doing. And it used to be the region you were in, so you would be a little hesitant to say what you want to say. But now you're in 4A, so let it all out. Spew what you think and tell me if I'm right or wrong or indifferent here. I don't think 5B makes a whole lot of sense to me in terms of how they structure a tournament. And I can say it out loud because I don't want to get coaches in trouble. Coaches that are in the region have concurred with my feeling on it. I don't think it has any consistency that flows with 5A, 4A, 6A, or 3A. Go ahead.
If I get this right, 5B has the tournament at Norview because Norview runs the regional basketball.
I don't know if that is right, so I don't want to speak out of turn and say that incorrectly.
I'm going to say it is. Somebody can correct me.
Okay, let them correct me. I don't want to be the guy that says that to you and get my finger snapped off or get told you don't have access. But I will tell you, the girls' quarterfinals is at Morey, the boys is at Norview, and then the semis and finals at Norview. I would be okay with that, but my thing is this. If Norview was a 2, 3, or 4 seed, what you're basically doing, or a 6, 7, or 8 seed, you're basically telling a team that your 22, 23 game season is meaningless, that you work so hard to get a 1 seed. Let's say Norview was the 8 this year, and then the 1 seed's got to host the 8, or the 8 seed's got to host the 1 seed. That's not right. Now, it breaks for them this year that Norview's the 1 seed. It's really much to do about nothing in that respect. But I just feel like there should be, if you're going to predetermine a site, it needs to be a neutral site, or you let the higher seeds host. That's how the other regions do it. Why 5B is different, I have no earthly idea, and it hasn't been explained to me to where I say, okay, well, that makes a lot of sense.
Well, let's preface all this by saying the VHSL does not run the regional tournaments. That is by the regions. That's why you see differences. Some places have 8 teams, some have 6, some have 12. I think there's one that has 16.
And listen, I don't want to come off as if I'm complaining out the wazoo because, again, if they put 4 games on a Saturday at one venue, and that venue is right near our ODU home game, and I can get there to see the last 3 games, I'm all for it, baby. I'm all for it. I can see more basketball in one spot. But what I'm saying is I don't understand why it is so different than the other regions. And then I have people in other regions who frequently come to me as if I'm the one making this decision or I have the insider knowledge and asking me, why is 5B do it this way, but 4A, 3A, 6A do it this way? So that's why I'm explaining to you why I'm bringing this up. That's all.
My thing is this. Regional first round, the higher seed should host, or the tournament is at the 1 seed.
So are you okay? Well, hold on. 5A, which was a region you were once upon a time in, and you played in a region doubleheader that was neat. You remember it years ago, 2019, the last time you won a region playoff game when you were at Nansemond River and you beat Kickatin in overtime. You were in the 4-5 game at Green Run High School. Green Run hosted the 1, 8, and 4, 5s because they were the 1 seed, and then the 2, 7, 3, 6s were hosted at. Forgive me that year. I'm drawing a blank on where they were hosted at. Was it at Morey? No, it wasn't at Morey. It was somewhere else, I think. But the other side of the bracket had Morey and Norview play. So it might have been at Norview. But the point of the matter is the 1 and 2s in that region have been able to host double headers. Are you okay with that? Or do you think that also is a little head scratching to you as well?
Well, again, I'm going to go back a little bit further. We're also not – the girls and boys a lot of times are together. I'm an advocate for you have a girls' regional tournament, you have a boys' regional tournament. There should be no, well, they have to play together. I understand. Let's say Norview girls, Norview boys are playing you, and they're both higher seeds. You could play it at Norview. That's both. That's
I was going to say Kings Fork. How about your Rick Height? You're the coach of the Kings Fork boys. You want to see your, by the way, he couldn't do this Friday because they had a JV boys game before it. His daughter, Riley, who we had on the show a couple weeks ago, East Carolina signee, she's playing Oscar Smith at Kings Fork. So if you're the mom, the grandma, the family, you can't be in 2 places at once. That's an issue. I mean, listen, I don't know if there's a perfect solution to all this. So you can see different angles and avenues for all this. I just think, and it goes back to what you said, the VHSL doesn't, it's up to the regions. It's so different. And if Class 5 is playing for a championship and 5A hand does it this way and 5B hand does it this way, and the same is true for 6A, 6B, I'd say the problem for Class 6 is 6A's region is so tiny. 6B takes 1,000 schools, like 19 schools. 6A's 9. What is right about that? To me, nothing. Now, that region that 6A's in, which has Lansdowne, Oscar Smith, Manchester, LC Burns, some pretty good teams. 6B, which is Patriots region, I think they're going to cruise to it. Outside of them in Forest Park, maybe Potomac and Garfield right now, you got 19 schools, and I think about 10 or 11 of them, are well below 500, not very good. So there's unequal. There's not a lot of balance in some of these regions. And I do know this. Your region, it feels like it's a foregone conclusion, Hampton, Denbigh in the final for the boys. That's what it feels like. No disrespect to other schools, which includes yours and War Hill. And how about Lafayette, by the way? Lafayette's making some noise in the Bay Rivers. They knock off New Kent on Friday night. Mm-hmm. Or was it Thursday night? Thursday night, whatever night it was. They knocked them off this week. My nights run together now.
I was a little surprised about that, but Lafayette's a very, very good team. A big team, really a great point guard, and they can shoot the basketball.
After they pounded War Hill. And then they beat New Kent and beat them pretty handily. George Pickett's got it going on over there. Got some inside outside playing well.
Oh, that was before they squeaked by Smithfield by 7, and they were only up 3, I think, with 1:15 to go.
If that guy in the blue suit didn't get in the way, he just had to get in the way. Get in the way of things.
I started coaching, and all of a sudden they go on a 9-0 run.
Yeah, I mean,
but no, getting back to the regional, because it's going to come up again anyways.
It is.
And here's what I've been saying: first round, higher seeds. Second round, college courts on. I know it's money, but you know what, college people. Get with the high schools and do something good for them, cut the fee down or whatever, because eventual teams going to state are going to end up playing at VCU. So let's get them on the big court. I've been an advocate for that forever, and I wish we could do it, but of course it won't happen.
Now, these are the rankings going in, folks, to last Tuesday. They're going to change, as we well know. It was Westfield 1. Who got themselves a nice win on Friday night, pretty handily over South Lakes. Your buddy Mike Desmond and the defending 2-time state champion Seahawks. Malachi Lee had a big game. Matthias is his brother. Lansdowne, Patriot, LC Birds now taking 2 losses to go downward. Forest Park, Garfield, Oscar Smith, which is taking another loss. since the one they had against Woodside. George Marshall, Manchester, Oakton. Yorktown's going to probably move back in. C.G. Woodson beat South County. They're probably going to move back in. Your honorable mention at Potomac, Western Branch, South County, Thomas Edison. Anything strike you there, or does it feel still like we have a gap between the one and the top three and the rest of the field, with the top three being Westfield, Lancetown, Patriot? And oh, by the way, Garfield is now, with their latest win, 18-1. They've already played 19 games. Isn't that crazy?
19. They only can play, so they only got 4 games between now and February 20th.
4 games left. Yeah.
Wow.
That's it. That's the list.
That is different. I got to agree with you. 6 is top heavy. How about Western Branch? Are they pretty hot or what? Western Branch is doing all right in our area. But yeah, I think that's a top heavy situation in 6A. And I don't think it's going to change a whole lot, even though we still got a lot of basketball to play. I don't think it'll change a whole lot.
Okay, let's go to Class 5 quickly here. Albemarle, Highland Springs takes a loss to Varina pretty handily. Norview, Green Run, Woodside lost again, so they're going to go down Nansman River. Stonebridge, here comes Kent Kling's Bulldogs, led by Kevin Reyes in the guard spot. Got themselves a win over Riverside. Kings Fork, Massaponics, here they come. Princess Anne lost in overtime to Salem. Salem's won 5 or 6 in a row. Look out for them now. Then your honorable mention, James River, Midlothian, who ended up beating Monacan, who beat Manchester, who beat LC Bird. Stay with me. The Dominion District's wild and wacky and zany right now. James River, Midlothian's going to move on up. You're going to tell me, Matt, why don't you have James River ranked? Why don't you have James River ranked? I look at James River. They're playing really well, Matt. How come you don't have him ranked? Go ahead. Give me all the trouble. Headache on it.
I don't know why you don't have James River ranked before, and I can't understand why Riverbend is not up a little higher.
Well, Riverbend got beat by your buddy Jason John, former Colonial Forge coach, and his Brook Point Blackhawks on Friday night. So that's why they're not ranked. Okay. But Granby is going to make a case as well. So I know you're going to say bump PA out for the time being. They could get their way back in there. And then who else you want to bump out if you want to put both Granby and James River? Or you still want to wait a little bit more on Granby? Who just beat Lake Taylor.
Yeah, I know. That's a great win. Levi Wall doing a good job over there, but Granby doesn't – I wouldn't put Granby top 10 yet.
Okay, they need another quality win. Well, they get a chance for it Wednesday night against Norview. If they beat Norview, they got to stamp themselves in the top 10, right? Got to stamp them.
And then you might have to bump somebody out there. Yes.
Get the rubber stamp. And by the way, I've said it before, and I hope the Norview people don't get mad at me. Please don't get mad at me. I'm not trying to create enemies. But what you do not want is to beat Granby twice and then have to play them in a do-or-die game in the region semis. Now, that could be in your gym, which is going to help. But that's a dangerous spot, as Ed can attest to, having years of doing that in Suffolk with some teams. I won't bring up that Lakeland game for the playoffs. Class 4, Broad Run got smoked by Heritage of Leesburg on Friday. I mean smoked. EC Glass, the last unbeaten standing. Hampton's won 14 straight. Then you got Denbigh, Heritage Leesburg. How high do you jump them for pounding Broad Run, who's unbeaten? Can they jump ahead of Denbigh and Hampton and Glass? It's a troublesome. And no, by the way, there's Varina, who's now won, I think, 8 or 9 in a row. They were 0-2 to start. They eventually lost to Massaponics. They beat an unbeaten in Highland Springs. And you got Salem, Tuscarora, Hanley, who lost on Friday night to Millbrook. Monacan, who beat Manchester, who beat Bird, but then they lost to James River. Then you got Atlee outside, War Hill, Lafayette, Charlottesville, Loudon Valley. You're going to tell me Lafayette needs to be in there, Matt. Okay, I'm cool with that. But the question is, who do you bump out to put him in? Maybe your guy, Zach Harold Zook, and his Hanley Judges, who no longer have Will Brondo at the moment because of injury. He's been in and out of the lineup. What do you think, though? Class 4, there's 6 or 7 teams that can win this thing, and they're all at the top to me.
Yeah, I think Hampton – I haven't seen Glass. I would probably go Glass 1, move Hampton to 2, and Denbigh get right up there. I'd probably drop Broad Run.
So you only move Heritage 1 spot. Hold on. You only move Heritage up 1 spot in the top 10 for beating an undefeated Broad Run with a Mount St. Mary's pledge in Ryan Brzezinski. They just beat them 81-53 on Friday night, Ed.
But if you jump, Denbigh beat a good Norview team. Hampton beat a good Woodside team.
Agreed. Swept them. You're right.
So, I'm kind of taking your ratings and moving everybody up 1 and putting Broad Run all the way down to 5.
That's what I'm saying. Broad Run's undefeated. They lose 1 game by 28 points.
But look at it, and they lost to a good team. It wasn't no fluke team.
Yeah.
tells you how tough that. And oh, by the way, I'm not even talking about Verina, who I think come state time is probably going to have a whole lot.
Well, here's the reason you can't put Heritage ahead of EC Glass. You want to know why? Because they played on December 29th, and EC Glass beat them 56-42. It's the only loss for Heritage of Leesburg.
That's
so
the reason.
Glass has to stay ahead of them, and Broad Run has to go behind both of them. Then the question is, what do you do with Hampton and Denbigh? And oh, by the way, we say all that to say all this. Verina, which no longer has Brian Mitchell, who plays at Paul VI. They had Brian Mitchell. I think they'd be number one. But Verina might be the best team when it's all said and done, because I put on the stream on NFHS, and Damari Carter, the UVA football star, he's jumping over dudes for rebounds. He's that good as a two-sport athlete. So Verina, who just beat Highland Springs, they could still win this thing. And oh, by the way, keep an eye on Tuscarora at 8. Callen Bird's one of the best scorers in the state, and if he gets hot in a tournament game, they're in the same region with Broad Run or Heritage Leesburg, he can go drop 35 and knock one of them out. He can, and their team is good enough to do that. I'm not saying they will, but they could. Very, very interesting. Let's get to Class 3 and 2 and 1 before we sign off there. You see Ladarius Given, who's got an official visit this weekend to Alabama. Petersburg had that wild comeback with Lancetown last week. They leapfrogged ahead of Lake Taylor, which was the right call by me. I will gloat about it only because Lake Taylor lost another game. Petersburg keeps humming. New Kent was 3, but they're going to drop backwards because they lost. Western Albemarle also lost. Meridian, Wilson Memorial, who's been red hot. Jeremy Hartman's Green Hornets. Hidden Valley, Liberty Christian, Stanton, Skyline. I don't know if there's a lot of depth to Class 3. I think their first, second round will be interesting. But when it's all said and done, the Crimson Wave look to be the team, unless something just absolutely shocking happens, right?
Yeah, I really think, again, we said it before, and I don't mean to disrespect. Everybody's playing for second place to play Petersburg in the state championship. No disrespect for those teams. They'll be a lot further than I'll ever hope to be, but I just think Petersburg's that strong.
But here's the question, Ed. Here's the question. Lake Taylor's the one team that people are fascinated to see possibly play them in the region. And the way the state bracket is, they would be on opposite sides of the state tournament bracket if they're on the opposite sides of the region bracket. Right now, that region seeding is going to be really fascinating because Lake Taylor had an inside track on the 1 over New Kent, and then they lost again. They still got to play with Norview. So keep an eye on how this all plays out. What I don't think Lake Taylor wants or New Kent wants is to be on the same side of the bracket as Petersburg. That's what it all comes down to, isn't it?
You want to play them in a state title game, not
region final, then state title game. Correct.
Right. Region final. Right. So,
but is there a team outside of the 757, if you want to include New Kent in the 804, because technically their area code, is there a team outside those 3 at the top that you can see, maybe not beating Petersburg in a championship, but getting to the championship game? Is a Western Albemarle, is there somebody, you've played them before, Liberty Christian, that's an interesting private school. Is there somebody that kind of catches your eye at the moment, or are you still waiting to see?
You know, Liberty Christian has athletes. The record is not exceptional.
But they beat Western Albemarle.
Right. And Western Albemarle is a team that can, if they play Petersburg, they're going to make Petersburg sweat a little bit. Western Albemarle does not make a whole lot of mistakes. Mm-hmm. They run their stuff thoroughly, and they're going to gang you on defense. They're going to have people in the right spot. Now, when it's all said and done, Petersburg would probably wear them out with their height and their speed. But I would look at Western Albemarle. I would look at Liberty Christian. And, tell me again why Turner Ashby doesn't belong in the top 10.
Because they've lost 3 games. And Turner Ashby.
Up there with 6 losses.
Huh?
You got a team up there with 6 losses.
Oh, can I continue to tell you my story here before you just cut me off here? They're 14-3. They're playing. Let me talk. Go ahead. They lost to Rocktown by 15. They lost to East Rockingham, who's honorable mention, by 17. And they lost to Wilson Memorial by 21. And that's all since December 30th. Only beat Broadway by 7. Only beat William Monroe by 9. Only beat Waynesboro, the Little Giants, by 5. They got off to a fast start, but that fast start included a lot of close wins over Page County by 1, Fort Defiance by 4, Page County again by 1, Spotswood by 1. Your buddy Chad Edwards, the BCAV president and coach of the defending state champion Trailblazers, who got off to like an 0-8 start. They won 6 in a row, got going. So if they saw them again, I'm not sure they win that game. And right now, to me, they're not one of the 10 best teams in Class 3 to answer your question. And they're going to play Spotswood coming up on Tuesday night. They're going to play William Monroe and East Rockingham. So if we get to February 4th and they've won all 3 games, I can promise you they'll be in the top 10. But I'm here to tell you I think they'll lose one of those 3 games. All right, there you go. Make all the TA Knights fans mad at me for saying that. But I'm glad to know you were the one banging the drum for them on the BCAV poll now. Let's go to Class 2 as Nelson County is 1.
And we should be putting a BCAP poll up because that one is much more to the point. But
look at you. Now you're going to knock my rankings and say that the BCAV poll. Okay.
I'm not knocking your rankings. Yeah. You know stuff.
I said it's much more. It's much more what? What is it?
You got the second best rankings in the state, bar none.
Second best? It used to be the best. Now it's the second best
BCAV.
Because the only reason you say BCAV is better because you're in the poll voting.
That's, I'm the master poll bit.
But what he doesn't tell you, ladies and gents, is he looks at my poll before he does the rankings. He most certainly does.
So I don't make the same mistakes that Mr.
Oh, look at you.
I do my homework. See?
Aren't you full of it? You are full of it. Class 2. Nelson County, Martinsville, Graham, Floyd County sputtering. We love Brian Harmon out there to coach the Buffaloes, but they've lost a couple games this week to Glenver and Radford in their Three Rivers districts. They're sputtering. They were number 1 at one time. Lebanon, Central Woodstock, Dan River, TJ Richmond, Greensville, Liberty, Bedford. Your honorable mention has Armstrong, Page County, Gretna, Arcadia, the Firebirds. My man, Mr. Cropper out there, good guard, 1,000-point score, and John Marshall. Yes, John Marshall at 6 and 8 going into the week. It's going into the week. It's not now. It's going into the week. So people tell me that a record such and such. Now, we recognize that. Okay, not living under a rock. We're good. But of note, Ed, the big game in Class 2 on Friday night was Graham and Lebanon. Graham won in overtime, 59-58. The G-men, who you remember last year, lost in the state championship game to John Marshall. Graham graduated a couple key guys there. Class 2 seems more wide open. I like Nelson County, but I keep looking hard at Martinsville. They had those losses to bigger schools around the holidays, including Green Run. And Gary Hall knows what he's doing. He's a veteran coach, and he didn't come to Martinsville to play second fiddle to anybody. He came to win a championship, and they have a storied tradition. Husky Hall, Jeff Adkins, Martinsville, it feels like at some point in time, whether it's this year or next year, we'll get back in the limelight in the championship game under Coach Hall's direction. Don't you think so?
I do. But I'll tell you where my eyes go when you look at Class 2. Right there towards the bottom, Dan River, TJ Richmond, Greensville. Very athletic teams, capable of both ends of the floor play. And one of those teams, at least, is going to be going up the ladder and quite possibly in Richmond.
You're smart. You're very shrewd. I like your thinking there because there's some good depth to Class 2, and Greensville put a hurting on Franklin Friday night. Watch out for them. Dan River, its best player graduated last year, but they could be a better team overall. And TJ, led by Kendrick Warren, was a heck of a player back in his day at VCU. There's some intrigue there. I'm surprised you didn't question me not having Bruton in the top 10 or honorable mention.
No, I wouldn't. I'd put a honorable mention over John Marshall.
Okay. Justice might be served. And then you see on the screen there, 1,000 points. That's Owen Jackson. He's a sophomore at Fort Chiswell, Ed. 1,000 points. He had 52 points in a game this year through 15 games, averaging 34.8 points per game. If you live out there in Fort Chiz, go watch this young dude play. He's a baller. I don't care who he's playing. He could be playing against ghosts and invisible people. You scoring almost 35 a game, you're doing something right. Patrick Henry, Glade Spring, Northumberland, Luray, Perry McClure, Fort Chiz with Owen Jackson, Action Jackson, Brunswick, Grayson County, George with the unfortunate injury to David Good out for the year. That just really hurts the defending champs and Coach Tony Dunford, who I know you have a lot of respect for, having watched him called his state championship game last year. Northampton and Cumberland, Alta Vista dropped out. They've been struggling. East Side, Rappahannock, Narrows, Rappahannock County. Class 1, a little bit up for grabs. I like Luray because of Matthew Owens, who's going to JMU, and I like Fort Chiswell because of Owen Jackson. And in Class 1 basketball, you have a prolific scorer that can drop 30-plus. That can carry you through. Remember, Troy Henderson was at Lancaster for 2 years before he went to John Marshall, and now he plays in the SEC at Tennessee. I'm not saying Luray will have that guy, Matthew Owens, go from JMU to the SEC or that Owen Jackson plays in a Power 4 league, but those type of scores can put their team on their back.
I concur with that. My eyes do look at Northumberland a little bit more, our area, Middle Peninsula. I look at Northumberland. Perry McClure, who not our area, catches my eyes also. Move down that list, if you would.
Mm-hmm.
George Wythe has been, in the past, has been one to watch.
Injury does good. It's killer for them. It's a killer injury, yeah.
And I think Eastside can jump up in there eventually.
Yeah. And Northumberland's got 1,000-point score at a quarterback, Tyreek Lundy. So he's another guy like Jackson and like Owens that can really put a team on the back. So there you have it. Those are the top 10 rankings, and they'll be changed again coming up Monday morning on VirginiaPreps.com. There you have it. And Ed will get his insight so he can vote for the BCAP poll and not pick what I picked. He can be different. He can be different. We'll show if you and Chad and again get me some graphics for next week. We'll put the graphics up on the screen. Just get them to me in time. We'll put them up there because you guys do girls as well, top 10s, and I get asked all the time about the girls' top 10s. To y'all's credit, you do a top 10 for all 6 classifications for the girls. All right.
Well, maybe if because of time constraints on your part, doing 18 different jobs and your new job of taking care of the kiddies nowadays, maybe the BCAP girls poll will be one that we can really look at.
Let me tell you something. You gotta be careful on the playground. 4th grade girls get it throwing down. You better duck and take.
Watch when you call somebody's mama ugly, because you're gonna better have some fence, because it's gonna happen. At Hatfield, can y'all picture this, people?
Oh no,
girls ready to throw down the fist, throwing hands. All right, because she called my mama ugly. Your mama is ugly, and Hatfield is in the middle trying to separate him, and they're slugging him. I'm dying listening to it. Where is that on the? Where's
there's no video because it never happened. You're making this up. It never happened. Although I'm turning red laughing, so it did happen. It did happen. There might be video. I hope there's a video.
Lord, we should have this.
Listen,
on.
My 9-year-old niece is enough for me. Okay, it's enough.
Hatfield in the middle. Hey, your mom is not ugly. She wears her hair wrong. That's all he said.
What Coach Young isn't telling all you out there is that Ed Young said, well, let me see a picture of the mama. I'll be the judge of that. Let me see a picture. I'll be the judge. Let me tell you. Yeah. He's not telling you all that part.
Yeah, you tell the kid, hey, stop arguing. Y'all bring me a picture of your mom and I'll tell you what to deal with.
That's how you solve the issue. Yeah. Yeah. By the way, I would do that and I'd get called to the office.
By the way, is your mom single?
Yeah, that's how you roll. That's how you operate. Coming up next, you're going to hear from Stephon Welsh, and then we have NFL picks in the league where they play for pay. That's right.
What are we doing?
National
SEC?
Football League. No, you're good, Alex. SEC.
You know that the SEC pays more than the AFC Western Conference.
I believe that. I believe that. You don't have to sell me on that. Conference championship games: Seahawks, Rams, Patriots, Broncos. Ed will come back and tell you who's not going to the Super Bowl right here on 757 Sports Talk. It's with us on Kova Sports TV. Back in just a moment.
What is more? Is it more reps, more strength, more stamina? We say it's all of that, but it's greater than just what's in the mirror. It's about improving your mental and physical health. More is a feeling of achievement, fulfillment, confidence. It's looking better, feeling better, being better, and it's our mission to get you there, because here you are more. One Life Fitness.
As a banker at Town Bank, we believe that people bank with people, not with banks. You're looking for an actual personal relationship, and that's what you get at our bank. You get that person that gets to know you, gets to know your business, is there for you. I think that is what motivates us, what drives us, and the idea that we are trying to serve others and enrich lives, I think is very true.
All right, here with Woodside head basketball coach Stephon Welsh's Wolverines, very impressive tonight, 65-42 over Oscar Smith, who's no longer the only unbeaten in the 7-5-7 as the Wolverines win here at the MLK Day of Dreams Showcase in Suffolk. Coach, 9-0 start, just 2 minutes in. You hit your first 3 threes from 3 different guys. You hit 4 threes in the opening quarter from 4 different players. Almost all 5 starters scored in double figures. This is a pretty balanced, workmanlike game, and outside the second quarter, it was probably an A game for you.
Yeah, man, you know what? It's been a long season, battling injuries and, trying to get on the same page. I think over the course of the break and, us playing some really, really difficult out-of-conference game, I'd rather grow through losing than, wear makeup and win. We know who we are. We've identified, what we need to fix. And I think we're making steady progress. We're taking slow steps to fixing what we need to fix. And this, again, it's a journey, and we know that. And, all of our losses that we've taken, they've been ball games. And, a lot of times we just ran out of the gas. And I thought tonight was probably the first time all season that we put together a 32-minute performance.
Sure, we've chronicled the games you've had within your district, the Hamptons, the Denbigh, so we'll see a second time, Massaponics in your showcase. But you mentioned about knowing who you are. You got that identity. What did you learn about your team in some of those out-of-state matchups? I think it was New York and North Carolina, and certainly growth points for a lot of those underclassmen that are starting to get their feet more wet, if you will.
Right. Well, the most recent one, we played Ant Brown, probably the most electric scorer, in the DMV, going to Vanderbilt, top 30 player, has a good chance to be a McDonald's All-American. We held him scoreless in the first half. We held him to a season low at 12 points. So there I knew that we had it in us to, execute game plan. I thought against them, it was a tie ball game with 7 minutes to go, and we ended up losing by 16. So I knew then that we had it in us to execute, and we can execute at a really high level in a consistent level. This team is still learning how to finish, and I think that as we grow and they gain experience and we actually learn how to finish, we'll win more ball games.
It looks like defense is kind of what your calling card is today. You hold Oscar Smith to 42. I think for about 3 quarters we were starting at about 22% shooting. They were from the field, but hit on a couple of your guys if you can in particular here. Donnell Deuce-Jared, he's the guy that's one of your mainstays coming back from your runs to the state tournament the last 3 years. And then Trent Smalling, we watched him more and more. He's starting to show he can be a high-caliber shot maker, 19 points today.
Absolutely. In our loss against Knightdale this weekend, he had 29. And we know what Trent is capable of. It's all about him playing the right way all the time and being more consistent in his approach to the game.
What's the best part of his game?
He's a flat-out scorer. He can score at all 3 levels. He's really athletic, but he can really, really, really shoot it. He can make shots all over the floor, and we know that. And, as he continue to gain confidence and understand, how we want to attack, and then just, as his feel for the game grow, you're going to see a really, really good basketball play. And I think that's what all the guys, I think we're just doing a good job of, identifying who we are as a unit, how we want to attack. And, once they understand, consistently how we want to attack and, the way that we want to play, we're going to continue to get the results that we want to get. And I thought this was the most complete game we played all year.
Really? Well, and then going to Deuce for a second, it feels like he's the guy that knows you the best because he's been on the floor for the most meaningful minutes in some big spots in games. What are you seeing out of him this year? Because you're asking for more leadership as you break in some new guys in the lineup.
Yeah, absolutely. In Deuce's situation, he's always kind of been that third or fourth scorer. So it's different when you're the feature guy, and game plans are designed to stop you. And he hasn't shot the ball the best over the last 6 games, but we're encouraging him, to do other things, to help us win. And I thought tonight he made some really, really good passes. He was really good on the boards, ran the floor well, mixed it up, got to the cup a little bit, got to the free throw line. And, the thing about Deuce is, when he's on, we're extremely good. And, just when his shot is on, right, that don't need to be the only time that you're on, because there's so many different facets to your game that you're good at, and as he continue to develop as a player and as a leader, we'll continue to see the Deuce-Jared that everybody know.
Lastly, thank you for your time. Let's talk about you for a moment, because it's all about your kids, but are you enjoying this team? Are you relishing not being the team that's the hunt? And certainly Woodside's got a name. You guys have a brand going back to when you played for Coach Morrison, but do you kind of feel like you're flying under the radar in Class 5, where there's a dominant team this year across the board? Maybe that could be statewide this year across all the divisions.
Well, one of the reasons that I probably overloaded our non-conference schedules because I wanted to throw these guys in the fire. And I remember when we did win the state, you talked about how I always threw those freshmen in, right? But it's different being a freshman and being a featured guy. And, like I said, I wanted to see exactly who we are. That's why this is probably the most difficult non-conference schedule I've scheduled since I've been at Woodside. And again, I know exactly who we are. So you look at our record and we're 8-5, but we're not really an 8-5 basketball team. You know, I want to grow through, losses. You know what I mean? And it's humbled us. It's humbled me. It's humbled our kids. It's humbled our program. And, we understand that, hey, if we don't come out and play the right way, we can lose. You know what I mean? And I think that's kind of what's helped this team, give us balance. A lot of games in district we going to win. Outside of the district, we're going to play games that we maybe shouldn't win. You know what I mean? And I think this was a big win for us. And it was a big win for the group, for them to, know that, we still who we are.
Hey, have a way at Woodside High School. Thank you so much. All the best.
I appreciate it.
This is 757 Saturday Sports Talk with Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
Believe it or not, Ed, after that win that they notched on Monday night by a wide margin over Oscar Smith, they turn around and lose to Hampton by a dozen, and they're now 8-6. Could be the best 8-6 team in Virginia at the moment. But it is time now for the NFL picks. The conference championship round, as we fire up the music for that, we want to show you the records so far. Ed, tell the audience how the playoffs are going.
Well, I can do that because I have a good view from the bottom up. It's been a horrible year, people. If you're new to this, and it's not new to me, but it's kind of new to me because I'm usually up top. But this year, I'm down low. Bruce Pearl's 4-2. He's won in the divisional round, which puts him at what, 6-2? No, 4-2 overall. 4-2 overall. Hatfield, who is probably the best cheater in the world, is 3-3. And then yours truly is coming up from the bottom. I'm 2-4. I'm picking teams that are throwing games. That's the problem. It's going to come out in the summertime. NFL, breaking news, NFL throws games. Teams Ed Young picked to win through the games. And that's coming up later. So I'm 2-4.
What do you think about Philip Rivers interviewing for the Bills job?
Now he's going to go from head high school coach to run the Bills. It will never happen. He will not get hired.
You can go from head high school coach to run the Raiders at this point. They haven't hired anybody. You can put your name in the hat.
Yeah, you might as well throw me in the mix because what else they got going on?
Would you leave Smithfield High School for the Raiders, yes or no?
In a drop of a dime because the money is different.
Wow. Wow.
Hey, at my age, I got to do security. I make $4,000 as head high school coach. With the Raiders, I would probably bring down, what, $1 million?
Listen. I have my loyalties. Smithfield, if I was working for you all and coaching, I would not leave you like that. Remember
Hatfield would leave for a $10 bill. I've seen it.
No.
$10 bill.
It's going to take at least a Benjamin Franklin. It's going to take a couple more.
I'm extremely happy where I'm at. Let me put it that way. You know what? I would the Raiders would come at me. I'd go through the interview. When they offered it to me, I'd say, nah, I'd rather watch you keep screwing it up.
No, you wouldn't say that. All right. Let's get to Bruce Pearl's picks.
Speaking
of, we talked about Bobby Steinberg and Hasbulla and Callen Morrison. I almost said Cade Morrison. You know who Cade Morrison is, right?
I've heard of the name.
You know who Cade Morrison is. No relation to Callen Morrison. Cade Morrison is our buddy from Holston.
Out to Brady Bishop. 15 seconds remaining. Morrison, one more time. What's he do? He sinks it. Three-pointers in a row for number 34, Cade Morrison. He's hotter than a stolen car, Butch.
So no relation to Cade and Callen. We told you Callen looks like Jamal Murray, and Bobby Steinberg could be like Hasbulla's uncle. That's the Russian social media star. Look, Google him later. Speaking of Google me, by the way, I didn't give you a chance to talk about it too. Google me. That's what Ed Young should tell people. Google me. But when I Google your name, a pastor comes up. And it's not you. It's a pastor named Ed Young. When I Google you.
From Ohio, Dayton, Ohio.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. That's what every time, I ask Alexa about your name, and that's what comes up. Not anyways. We got to find a lookalike for Bruce Pearl. I haven't found one yet. I'm looking for a good lookalike for Bruce. Indiana, though. Callen Black, what a job. Set him running back. We're going to try to get him on the show. Tyreek Tucker. We got into a little bit of a skirmish after the game with one of the players from Miami, the running back, in fact. Tried to go power right in the kisser. Stephen Daly and Aiden Fisher. Aiden Fisher, leading tackler for Indiana. He was getting recruited by next to nobody at the P4, P5 level. Goes to JMU like Black and some of the guys. So cool to see the number of Virginia natives involved in a championship. But people also corrected me, or also make sure I found that on Facebook. I forgot about it. He's not a Virginia native, but he did coach in Virginia with Bruce Pearl's Mustangs program. As I tied all back to the picks and Bruce with us. Eddie Burke, who coached Oscar Smith as an assistant, is one of the assistants on the Indiana coaching staff. So maybe we'll get Coach Burke on the show too. Talking about their championship and working for Kurt Signetti and what he's like and how different he is than Ed Young, because when you Google him, he comes up. When you Google Ed, some pastor comes up. What's going on?
It's being a different life.
Yeah,
I can see myself as a pastor.
I can't. You say too many words that pastors don't like to say. But here's Bruce's picks. He's the leader in the clubhouse. He's going Pats minus 4.5, Seahawks minus the 2.5, and under 42.5 in the Broncos and the Pats game. So, with all of that, I get to go first because I had a better record than you. And I'm just going to give you a little nugget here, a little statistical nugget for you to chew on here, munch on this Saturday in January as you prep for Snowmageddon, Edward. And that little nugget is as follows. You love chicken nuggets, I know you do. And the Denver Nuggets. Heard this from Sal Powell this week. 38 turnovers in this postseason. Most in a quarter century in the playoffs. 33 of them have been committed by quarterbacks. 20 came in a divisional round. The most in a century. And 17 by quarterbacks. So your quarterbacks that are left here, Drake May and Jarrett Stidham filling in for Bo Nix, and Matthew Stafford and Sam Darnold, turnover prone. Whoever makes the fewest mistakes, their team's going to win. It's very simplistic. Take care of the football. Denver's going to go into this game, and everybody is counting them out. And I don't think they're going to win the game. But 4.5 is a lot of points, Bruce. 4.5 is a lot of points, Ed. And they're at home with a pretty respectable defense. And a New England offense with Drake May that last week turned the ball over against Houston. You know why I got overlooked? Because C.J. Stroud turned it over more. That's why I got overlooked. All that to tell you, Denver got the 1 seed for a reason. And they're good enough to cover 4.5 as a pup at home. Give it to me. Broncos plus the points. I think they lose by a field goal. What's your first selection and your second selection?
Well, I'm going to go Rams. Rams over Seattle.
Plus 2.5?
Yep, 2.5. Thought it was 3.5, but I'll take the 2.5.
Don't cheat. You can't cheat. You like to lie if you can, still if you must, but always cheat. And by the way, you got the two best receivers in the sport. You got Puka Nacua, you got Jackson Smith and Jigba. They got 248 catches between them. They're tremendous.
Now I see the over and unders for Denver and New England is 42.5. What is it for Rams Seahawks?
It's a great question, sir, and I'm glad you asked me that. The over under for Rams and Seattle is currently posted at 45.5. He's torn on this one.
Yeah. I'm going to go.
Remember, the last time they played, the Rams had a 30-14 fourth quarter lead and lost the game in overtime, 38-37, after scoring a touchdown. I think they might have been the first team to score a touchdown in overtime and lose because they had a 2-point conversion that lost them the game.
Well, weather's not going to factor either game. I heard if this game was in Buffalo, it probably would have to move it.
Probably would. You're correct about that, sir.
They're supposed to get 38 inches of snow. I'm going to take the over. Rams, Seattle, take the over.
Take the over. So you're going to go over 45.5, which means I have to root with every fiber in my body, ladies and gents, for this game to finish up 24-21 and Ed lose by half a point. It'd be beautiful.
And he will.
I most certainly will.
Oh, yeah.
I will be rooting for it. And trust me, I won't be invested with that field goal on the line at 24-21 to get you over. I might bring out the fan and try to push it on the TV screen. Win, blow it to the right. Not Norwood style.
See, people think you're joking. I know you're to be.
Oh, I'm not joking at all. And I'll really be doing that if I'm really wanting the team that's got the 3-point lead to not have to go to overtime. All right, my next two and last two. I'm going to go outside the box, folks, because we're down to the last two games. This is how we do this. We haven't decided we'll do it for Super Bowl or not, but this is how we're doing it today. And Ed's going to say, you can't do this, but I'm going to do it anyways. So I'm fascinated by the running backs in the Broncos-Patriots game. You want to know why?
Why are you fascinated by the running backs in the Broncos?
Because one of those running backs is Trevion Henderson from Hopewell High School in Richmond. So instead of taking a winner in Rams-Seahawks, just to be different, because I'm really unsure who wins that game, I'm going to take two running back yardage props. Ed now shuts his eyes and tries to go to sleep and listen to this. Here he goes.
I'm trying to figure out what you're going to say.
I'm going to take Trevion Henderson over 35.5 rush yards against the Broncos. Yes, give it to me, Henderson. You can pop one, buddy. I know it's going to be hard to average 6-7 yards a chunk, but break off a 25-yarder for me, and it's in the bag. An over wins.
He's not hurt, is he? He's not
been
playing
dinged
hurt,
up a little bit, but I think, listen, he'll be fine. Denver's defense is not as great as everybody thinks it is. It's good, but there are cracks in the end of the defense that he can break a run, and he's got that explosive ability to him. So, matter of fact, if you're out there and you like to do this, you can find longest run. If you find that prop for Henderson and find it at 10, 15 plus yards, you might get decent value. But I think he'll go over the 35.5. It's low enough. I know he splits carries with Ramondre Stevenson. Not worried about that. My other prop in that same game, Denver's rookie running back. We're going rookie running backs here. RJ Harvey. He's got 540 yards rushing this year, which is almost 400 fewer than Henderson. He's got 896 yards from scrimmage. He has more receiving yards than Henderson. I think he'll catch some passes in this game. But Sean Payton's not going to change who he is. Just like Ed Young. Ed Young's a classic complainer, folks. He's not going to wake up on Sunday and stop complaining. It is who he is. It's in his DNA. It's his identity. Sean Payton wants to throw the football.
Yeah. I got to let people know when they do wrong. That's why I get on. That's why I complain.
He's got to complain. He's like the high school version of Mick Cronin, except he's not as bad as Mick. I mean, Mick is miserable. Mick Cronin is miserable.
You think miserable? How about Bobby Hurley?
Well, but Mick beats Purdue, and he's airing his grievances about the Big Ten and scheduled them 5 of the first 7 on the road, and we got to play Purdue on 2 days rest. Blah, blah. I mean, Mick, you just beat a top 10 team at home. Chill. Take a chill pill, Mick. The only people that are more miserable than Mick Cronin are his assistants that have to live with him.
Yes, I hear behind
literally
closed doors.
Those guys are more miserable. Okay?
He's tough to work for.
But what I'm getting around to is this. Sean Payton wants to throw the football. No Bo Nix, no problem. He's got Cortland Sutton. He's got Troy Franklin. He's going to throw the ball to Harvey on checkdowns. But Harvey's not going to be able to run that New England defense. That New England defense, if you've been watching closely here, they're going to contain the run with Milton Williams at defensive line. He's been getting pass rush. Those linebackers, they're going to stack the box. And I think Denver's going to have to make plays in a pass game with Stidham, and Peyton's going to do it. So as a result, subsequently, whatever it is, regardless, Harvey, his over-under is 40.5. Give me under 40.5 rush yards for RJ Harvey. So to recap, Denver plus 4.5. Over 35.5 rush for Henderson. Under 40.5 rush for Harvey. Ed's got Rams plus the 2.5. Over 45.5 Rams and Seahawks. And his last pick is, drum roll please, what is it?
I'm gonna, first time in my life on these picks, I'm gonna do a little proppy thing too.
Oh, proppy thing. Go ahead. What proppy thing?
Jarrett Stidham.
Stidham.
Stedman, Stewman, Dewman, Camp.
Aren't you thinking of Stedman? That was Oprah's husband, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Stedman? Yeah, okay.
He will throw at least one touchdown pass.
Well, come on. What's the over-under on his? It's okay. It's over half is minus 235. But you're going to take that one. That is such a cheap. You are.
It says minus half. What do you want me to do?
You are a weasel if I've ever met a weasel.
You want me to lose? I'm going by what I see. It says.
While we're at it, hey, let me take Duke over Wake Forest today at men's college basketball. We're at it here. Go ahead.
Do that. I'll take Duke over Wake. What's the spread?
Sure you will. Like 17.5. Come on. Come on, man.
I'll give you Wake in 20.
I like Steve Forbes, but I'm not sure I can take that right now.
See? You want things set up so I automatically lose. I know your brain.
That is such a weasel.
They X-rayed your head one time when you had an injury, and the raised cell showed nothing.
What?
I said, you one time fell down and bumped your head and you took an X-ray. The X-rays were negative. They found nothing.
You're such a mean-spirited person. You know that?
One thing about me, I speak truth.
Not always. And Bruce's picks, as you see on the screen here, folks. Seattle, New England to cover, and the under in Broncos Pats. And that's going to do it for this episode of 7x7 Sports Talk. For the coach, Ed Young, get the snowblower out. Go to the grocery store.
Be careful. Make sure you gas your car up. Be careful with electric heaters, even though if the power goes out, the electric heater ain't going to help you. Be careful of the gasoline ones. Kerosene, gasoline, whatever. Don't put that stuff in your house. Just be smart. I don't think you have to worry about snow. Don't slip on the ice. Some of us oldsters, if we go down, we may stay down there for a while. So be careful.
We'll talk to you next time on the final day of January on 757 Saturday Sports Talk right here on Cova Sports TV. Have a great one and be safe.